Modern mobile games either look like this, or this, or this, or show you ads that look like this. It's sad trying to play games on your phone these days. Well, not to worry, because I've done the work for you. I found 120 incredible mobile games that are not only amazing, but super unheard of and genuinely hard to find. These hidden gems are some of the greatest experiences you can download on your phone these days. If you just want to see what I've got for you, there's a whole 2-hour-long video is going to be a blast. But if you're looking for something specific, each game has been put into a series of categories for your convenience. Sifting through 2 hours of mobile games you don't care about would be pretty rough otherwise. Maybe you're a big platformer fan, maybe you only play games vertically, or maybe you're ready to put some money down straight away to find a really good game. Whatever you're looking for, there's sure to be a category you're interested in. And yes, this video is compiling my hidden gem series I've done on my channel, so you can either watch each one separately, or just check out this one video with each game I've covered. Let me know if there are games you think deserve a spot in a video like this. Now, without further ado, let's sift through the slop of the app stores to find some diamonds in the rough, or count each and every game we cover to make sure it's actually 120, so you can call my bluff. To start our list, I want to take things easy. Mobile games are sometimes best when they are as simple as possible. Here are my choices for the simple starters category. The Bacon game is truly a timeless classic and quite possibly one of the most objectively enjoyable mobile games to ever exist that literally every single person in the world can enjoy. That's some high praise for a game about flipping bacon onto random objects, let's be fair. But when it comes to simple games, you just cannot beat this one. There are so many levels too. You can flip bacon onto a burger, a pina colada, a motivational quote, a treadmill, the hair from the film Grease, the Invisible Man, a wedding cake, and so much more. It's also got daily community-made levels, giving you endless bacon flipping entertainment. And it might sound easy, but some levels are a nightmare. I haven't even beaten this game. I'm stuck on one of the last levels with a text box that feels nearly impossible to reach. Thankfully, there's a skip option if you just can't beat a level. You can pick up and play at any time. It's fun, it's cute, it can be challenging, it has bacon, it has everything you could ever want, and it is incredible. But enough about bacon. How about some dinosaurs? Just imagine if there was a bacon dinosaur game. Now that would be perfection. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's go over Tap Dig My Museum. At your museum, you dig up dino skeletons, one bone at a time. It's simple because there's really no difficulty to this. You tap the dirt and clear as much as you can to find a couple of bones hidden down there. It is a slow, monotonous task, but once you finish a dino, you get to display it in all its glory. And these completed rooms look so cool. If you want to play this game, I sort of treat it like an idle game. I used to play it when I worked night shifts at a gas station. You can easily help customers in real life while digging for fossils for your museum. I also just love the pixel art here, it's very nice. You can get upgrades, different tools, all that jazz, but at its core, it's a simple, easy game with some fun looking dinos. Look at that, you've got a Bricky Boy! We open that bad boy up and get our hands on a brand new handheld system. This is so incredibly charming. The graphics capture that old classic handheld really well, while still looking pretty nice. I love the boss designs especially. It's a pinball brick-breaking game, but there's a lot more packaged in here, with various minigames, new power-ups to unlock and upgrade, and cosmetics of course. The skins change your whole device, which is so fun and actually makes me want to unlock more. I will say the ads are pretty egregious in this one, and if you enjoyed enough to pay to remove them, I think you'll have a much better time. But I really enjoyed trying to get further and further, as the levels got more difficult and secret bosses began to appear. Again, the personality of everything, especially the bosses, is so cool. I love how the last few blocks get bored and become sentient and move around the screen. Bricky Boy is so simple, so easy to pick up and play, and a great starter for our list. And now, here's one of the greatest upgrade games ever made, Burrito Bison Launcha Libre. If you've ever played all those old Flash games like Learn to Fly, then you know exactly what this is. You'll start the game pretty weak, barely making any progress. But each round you'll earn more money, allowing you to buy more upgrades to do better and better. So you can buy direct upgrades for Burrito Bison, making him stronger or faster, or you can upgrade the gummy bears, who help bounce you along the ground, and offer items to make your rounds last longer. Eventually you'll hit a wall, and your first challenge is to get good enough to break through it, which is a great feeling. Then you'll even get new playable characters. I love how both these games just drop you right into the action, forcing you to learn how to play and not dragging you through tutorials. I'm really curious if there's an end to this game or if you can just get better and better forever. If you're like me, you love games like this, and you'll be finding out along with me. Ever wanted to be a gunslinging, duel-winning gummy man? Then you might want to try out the game Gumslingers. It's a full-on shootout the moment you raise your gun, so you better aim to kill. The movement of the game is really fun, and perfectly aiming for headshots is always a great feeling. This easily could be super complicated, but as far as I've played, it's mostly the same gameplay each round. You'll play in different environments against different players with crazy cosmetics each time, but you're just trying to kill the other person before they kill you. The longer you play, you start to unlock new gummies yourself, as well as new weapons. The shotgun is pretty fun, I can't lie. And winning a tournament? You sort of feel like the gummy king after that. It's not a perfect game, but the style and personality are very fun, and I bet a lot of you out there are going to really get into this one. Let me know if you unlock the Piranha Plant gummy, that one's my favorite. I honestly have no idea how to pronounce CircloO, but that's my best guess. It's maybe as simple as it gets, just circles, squares, and lines. Holding left or right on your screen controls your little ball, and after hitting each checkpoint, the level will expand. By building momentum or pushing shapes into the right spot, you can pass each point, make the playing field as large as possible, and win each level. I love the look of every level and how it zooms out at the end to see the weird course you just traversed. They are constantly throwing new ideas at you, and just when you think the game can't really evolve any further, suddenly you're pushing piles of squares out of the way, or you're controlling a new circle that can only win by getting a smaller circle, or even a whole pile of tiny circles. And with a new color scheme every level, they really develop their own feeling each time. If you love physics-based puzzle games, you have no choice but to love this one. I'm sorry, it's just the rules. No matter what I think, you'll be pleasantly surprised, especially because it is such a simple starter. It's easy to recommend a game like Automatoys. It looks good, it's fun, and most importantly of all, it's simple. As you hold down, you can control parts of each contraption and get the little ball to the end of the level. Some sections move on their own, so you have to time your movements carefully or you'll fly right off the stage. I like to just play on my own time and have fun, but if you like a challenge, you can try to beat each stage under the time limit to earn 3 stars. The different gimmicks are so fun and unique. You go from traversing a spinning maze to a claw machine all in the same level. The style is so vibrant too, I almost just like playing to see what color schemes will be featured in each one. I absolutely love this sort of thing. Chill physics-based puzzles are hard to beat in my mind. I've played through all of Automatoys in the past and had the time of my life. It's only $3 for the full game, and I promise each level is almost always better than the last. Welcome to Rooms of Doom, an endless game with different minigames depending on the room. You might be trying not to get squished on a conveyor belt, or playing Flappy Bird, or even shooting around in Donkey Kong barrels. As you play, you'll unlock new characters, and the best part, construct new rooms to play. You get to choose which one you want to build, and then it's yours to beat. I like that idea a lot, and gives you a real reason to want to play well and make new high scores. It's certainly a unique art style, not totally appealing to me personally, but definitely reminds me of a lot of nostalgic classic mobile games, and the music's kinda banging, I won't lie. Anyways, I like how it gets faster the longer you play, but it doesn't really matter, dude. I'm always gonna die to that stupid alligator. Every time! I'm not joking, I did not die to anything else. I have truly found my Rooms of Doom Achilles heel. Some games are so old you might completely forget about them, but these games deserve to be remembered, so allow me to remind you with our old favorites category. If you're looking for a long, grand adventure, then you're gonna love the classic Swordigo. I played this quite a long time ago for another video of mine and sort of forgot about it until you all suggested it here. The graphical style is super unique, it feels like an early mobile game because of it. I believe it's become a cult classic, with a small community who are very passionate about it. The intro starts you in your village looking for your master who's lost in the forest. You're given a basic sword to defeat enemies in that area. Your super dead master gives you some magic balls, and then you die too. The healer leaves the body of your elderly master and just saves you for some reason. And now you're on a mission to find an even better sword. From here, you really start the game, and you are able to find secret treasures, level up your health, attack, or magic, and complete different quests like bringing this guy his giant pot. I've never beat this one, it's not really my thing personally, but a lot of people love it, and I've always been curious to see how much deeper Swordigo gets by the end. Now, Oddmar, while having a similar gameplay, is much more up my alley. Look at this cute little Viking, look at him! It's a beautiful game, not only in the opening animation, not only in the cutscenes that play before nearly every single level in the game, but just look at the environments, the character animations. It is so gorgeous, so smooth. In what game is your jump animation triggered by spawning mushrooms underneath you to launch through the air? There's only 4 worlds with 6 levels and a boss fight each, so it's very short, but every level feels like an event because of it. And they're so varied too, it feels like a Donkey Kong game in spirit. Even the boss fights, man. This game is so fun. It's pretty challenging too. Again, like in Donkey Kong, you only get 2 hearts, so you have to make them count. Oddmar is quite literally in the top 10 mobile games I've ever played in my entire life. Go get it now! I used some footage from the game Tiny Thief in my last video and people really wanted to see more about it, and instead of including it here, I'd really love to make a video on it and all the Rovio Stars games like Retry and Icebreaker because those games are so goddamn good and I miss them. Let me know if I should. I also used Drive Ahead music in the last one and everyone freaked out about how much they love it, so let's play that banger music once more and actually give it a spotlight. I gotta warn you though, this game used to be the GOAT and has definitely been ruined a bit over time. The name secretly tells you every aspect of this game. You control a little car and your job is to protect the head sticking out of it. Your opponents need to get hit first in order to win that round. Win more rounds overall and you take the dub. It's not as easy as you'd think though, thanks to the different vehicles and environments you can get. Sometimes they just screw you, giving your opponent an amazing vehicle and you get something completely useless. But that's what makes this game really fun and really unpredictable. The absolute greatest thing you can do in Drive Ahead is play with a friend. How many mobile games these days let you play with the person sitting next to you on the same phone? I promise you, you will have infinitely more fun going up against your friend or your sibling or hell, make your left and right hand duke it out if you're lonely. This mode is the single reason I will always love Drive Ahead, no matter what. I didn't mean for this to happen, but I guess you've got another driving game to try. Smashy Road is a real classic. You're an OG if you remember this one. You're on the run from the cops, and the longer you evade them, the bigger the vehicles are going to send after you. You can dodge and weave through the streets, you can try hiding between some buildings, but whatever your strategy ends up being, if your car explodes or the police corners you, it's game over. You can also collect money to unlock new vehicles. They completely tricked me into thinking I got a legendary first try too. But hey, a hot dog car is legendary in my eyes. I had a ton of vehicles when I used to play this, I'm really sad I lost my progress. This is clearly inspired by Crossy Road, but I'd say the gameplay is so different it's hard to be mad about that. I know it got a sequel at some point, but to me, the original is superior and I'll never stop loving it. Let me know your strategies for surviving and your high scores. I got over 1,000 here and I'm pretty proud of that. I love you to bits. This developer, like Studios, has made a series of these types of games. The great news is if you like one of them, there's like 3 more. They teamed up with Rovio to make a game called Tiny Thief back in the day. That might be my favorite from these games. But Love You to Bits was the first, so let's just go with that. There's this little knight who's got a robot wife that gets blown to smithereens, and not in the good way. He's got to travel to every planet in the solar system to retrieve each piece and put his wife back together. It's a mobile point-and-click game, let's just be honest. But take one look at the style of this game and tell me you don't like it. So charming, so polished. If this gameplay style isn't your sort of thing, you probably won't like it, but trust me, you know if you'd be into the sort of thing, and there are so many levels in this dang game, it is worth the $4 price tag. I suppose this could have been the Rovio funded third-party category as well, huh? I can't talk about amazing mobile games without playing Icebreaker. It's made by Nitro, who are masters at pixel art in mobile games, and this Viking voyage is quite possibly one of the greatest menu/low select sections in any game ever. The gameplay is all about breaking ice, hence the name. Typically you use it to save some Vikings, sending them sliding or launching through the air towards your ship. I can't believe there aren't more puzzle games with a similar gameplay style to this, because it's so genius and I want to play more of it. If you like games like Cut the Rope, I'm gonna be honest, Icebreaker is just a better Cut the Rope. It can get really difficult too, especially trying to use as few slices as possible. It's been a long time since I played this one and I'm really tempted to go through it all again now. Keep in mind it's not on the App Store anymore, but if you can emulate it, I'd highly recommend it. I played Zombie Tsunami for the first time in one of my old ranking videos, and I never deleted it from my phone. Now, how often have I played it since then? Not much, I'll be honest, but I still love it dearly. You start off pretty slow with a small group of zombies. By destroying objects and finding helpless civilians as you go, you can collect a bigger and bigger horde. After traveling to different zombified locations, collecting various power-ups that sometimes help you and sometimes kill you, the game really starts to speed up, and soon enough you're jumping over huge gaps and basically guessing what's coming next. It's really awesome. I also love the upgrade system of this game. By completing missions you can unlock new zombie hats, new locations, and even permanent upgrades to your abilities. Zombie Tsunami is so addicting, I had to force myself to stop playing so I could keep working on this video. It certainly doesn't help that I can't stop myself from jamming out to the incredible background music. Once again, we have a game you can so easily get addicted to, Daddy Longlegs. I'm going to warn you all right now, most of this is just me flopping and starting over again and again, because it's a walking simulator, something like Quap, but with a tiny body and extremely long legs. It's all about the rhythm, getting some momentum going, because if you mess up even a little, it's probably very likely over. Which means you have to play this game in offline mode, by the way. You will be bombarded with ads otherwise. I had a single good round with Daddy here, making it to nearly 40 meters. I know I made it way further when I was playing as a kid though. You can also play as Horse, which is so funny, but the controls are completely different. He kinda jumps with each tap, so your movement feels a lot more unique. But since he's such a long boy, it's pretty easy to get far every round. You can get 10 meters by flopping right off the bat. The unlockables are just costumes for your characters, and there's a lot of fun ones, so I think it makes sense. But getting high scores is pretty addicting, I won't lie. Let me know if you have a crazy big score in this game. Our racing games category is going to be a little unconventional. I think games like this are typically what you expect to find in this genre, but there are plenty of these types of games, and I found two that break the mold and are really fun. I think I'm in love with the game Data Wing. Just look at the aesthetics here, it is so different from the bright and cartoony look of most mobile games. This is a racing game. Most levels have you completing laps or trying to get the fastest time possible. Your little arrow can turn left and right and actually get speed boost while edging along the walls. You and me both, brother. I wish I was good at this game, just flying around and never bonking out the walls, but I doubt my gameplay is very satisfying, but at least I had fun. It's a pretty short game, I actually beat it, not realizing I was about to just sit down and play the whole thing. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing though. You could make this game infinitely long, but to just have a concise story and a fun experience to sit down and play in one sitting, it's a blast. It's a free game with no ads and it's really fun. What is stopping you from trying it? Does Not Commute is so damn cool. You start with just one car on the road, getting to your destination by any path you choose. Just remember, you'll be replaying that exact round 12 more times, only each time you're a different car getting added to the equation. The first few are fine of course, but the second I'm given a school bus full of kids, wham, I hit somebody. Now, you don't lose when you crash, but you're much slower, so it's usually best to just rewind. Just keep in mind it costs a second off your timer to do so. Let's be fair, this is more of a driving game than a racing game, but we are racing against the clock, right? I'm playing the free version, which is way harder because the whole game is a long, continuous round with the same timer the whole way through, and if you ever run out of time, you start all over. I will never beat this game unless I get the paid version with checkpoints, and I really want to since they added in boats at one point, and I'm really curious if there's going to be more vehicles or water sections later on. Either way, Does Not Commute is one of my favorite games on our list, hands down. I love escape games, or puzzle box games. I feel inclined to group in games like The Room in an escape game category, despite not exactly fitting that criteria. But The Room is probably the most well-known example, so let's find a few more for our escape games category. I've got your one-stop shop for a whole series of escape games, Cube Escape Collection. You literally don't have to get any other apps, you can just play 9 full escape games for free! I'll only do a couple, then I'll let all you see the rest. First was Seasons, where you're stuck in the same room in 4 different time periods. I didn't realize this was gonna get scary, dude! How am I supposed to sleep tonight? Anyways, it's a cool concept, and if they're all as good as this, then that's a great sign. Next we head to the lake, which mostly consists of placing various objects onto a fishing line and seeing what we catch with it, like a shrimp, or a fish, or a dead body. And the last one was a painting one, much less scary. I really love the final puzzle, where you had to find the color that corresponds to each symbol to correctly finish the painting. Like I said, there are 6 more after this I haven't revealed, and this developer has made more than that. You've got a ton of games to try now, and while some of the puzzles are definitely BS, that's just what you can expect from these classic escape games. Since we got a whole collection of fun traditional escape games, let's cover a puzzle box focused one, which again isn't really escaping, but it feels like it fits the category, doesn't it? Vignettes is another paid game. It costs $3, but the second I saw it, I did not hesitate to purchase it. If you angle an object just right, it'll transform, and from there you gotta transform each object one by one to find them all. Some of the colors are a bit bright, making the details hard to see, but otherwise I love how vibrant and contrasted everything is. This is the type of art style I really enjoy. Finding the sweet spot and transforming each object is really exciting. Even if the game is somewhat short, there's still a lot to do here. To me, it feels like it fits into an escape game category because there are puzzles within these objects. From using a compass to traverse through a map, to creating a little undersea musical, to stabbing a voodoo doll countless times. There's a lot of different stuff you can do here. Now, I won 100% of this game, I had to, and you're rewarded with early builds of the game, which is a pretty awesome incentive I feel like. Vignettes has so much style, and I loved every second of beating it. I thought it'd be fun to try a horror category. I feel like most mobile horror games are on an equal level to Backrooms Buff Doge horror, and I'll be honest, the screenshots for this game are so insane I genuinely considered adding it to the list. But let's get serious, and be prepared to piss your little pants in our spooky games category. Now, Seashine might take place in the dark depths of the ocean, quite possibly one of the scariest real places on the planet, but it can't be that scary, right? Swimming away from anglerfish who want to eat you and randomly getting jump scared by giant eels out of nowhere isn't that bad. It's not like there's these massive open areas where anything and everything wants to come and kill you, and whales aren't constantly wailing in the distance. Okay, yeah, all that is happening, and I'm scared, and I'm gonna piss my pants, and I have to survive as long as possible as a tiny helpless jellyfish. I do really love trying to discover every fish out there, but otherwise I kinda wish there was some sort of end goal. Like maybe if you reach the very bottom of the depths, there's a creature so big you can only see its eyeball or its mouth. Wouldn't that be worth trying to reach? Either way, the vibes of this one are very creepy, and it makes me so anxious to get chased down by anything in this game because they are relentless. Alright, time to come clean, guys. I only found one horror game. I guess I should have included Backrooms Buff Doge Horror. But I found a cool game, Do Not Feed the Monkeys, that sort of follows a FNAF or Observation Duty gameplay style with some little spooks. I had to include it though. Listen to this review. Monkeys will never have it. We watch them eat. We watch them work. We watch them make love and poo/pee. With a 5-star review like that, I could not pass this up. I wasn't sure what to expect from this game to be honest, and after playing, I still don't. The monkey cages are actually cameras and rooms of people's houses. It's a game about being a creep on random people, and not good people by the looks of it. You're able to gather clues about each person, for example. I believe they're implying this German guy is Adolf Hitler. A man pretending he is just an old lonely guy is actually a quote-unquote crazy dictator. I would assume there's some twist you find out and he actually isn't Hitler, but I thought that about the first case, where a lady is taking creepy pictures from her attic and saying they're taking photos of a nude actress in their window and selling them online, and there was no twist, it is literally just what they're doing. My favorite part is collecting little search terms, and using them in Google you can find people to contact or more information. I'm sitting here talking on the phone with Hitler. When did the monkeys show up again? It's a crazy idea and I think I'm gonna keep playing. It is super interesting and very out of pocket. Most of these games are free to play, but I wanted to make sure to get a couple that I didn't own already that cost money up front. Which games did you guys suggest for me that made it into our paid games category? First up is a very cute puzzle game, Tiny Bubbles. Through mixing colors, matching 4 of a kind, and popping all bubbles on screen, you can complete levels and unlock more areas. It's very good at introducing each mechanic bit by bit, slowly getting slightly more difficult as you go. After the first area, you can choose your path, arcade levels or more puzzle-based levels. Personally, I enjoyed the puzzle ones much more. They aren't timed or stressful, and they take a bit more thought. No matter what level you play, just watching the bubbles combine and pop is really satisfying, especially in chain reactions. Now, this game costs $4, so it's up to you if you think it's worth that cost. I really like little games like this, but I know it won't be for everybody, so maybe this next game will be up your alley. It's the showdown of a lifetime, pizza versus skeletons. Who cares about stupid plants or zombies? This is the real battle I've been waiting for. I genuinely love the weird art style of this game. It really makes it stand out. So few mobile games use motion controls, I often forget that's even an option. But Pizza vs. Skeletons is the best use of motion controls I can even think of in a mobile game. The introductory level is a little boring, just crushing skeletons back and forth for a bit, but as you go, the level variety gets better and better. You can slalom down a ski hill, you can balance on a skull, there's even big boss fights. Trying to get 3 stars is really unfair sometimes, but I decided to look past that and just enjoy this wacky minigame focused pizza party. Customizing your pizza is just incredible too. These were some strange paid game choices to say the least. In Duet, you control a red and blue dot spinning on a circle. You can spin them left or right, and that's all there is to it. This game starts off with just a few squares and rectangles hanging out, and after a while they start moving around too, and that's when things really get tough. Platforms just come out of nowhere sometimes, or spin in a circle faster than you. It's crazy how you're still able to keep track of both of the circles, and how your brain slowly begins to understand the patterns and movements needed for each type of obstacle. What's also cool is that when you die, you leave a paint splatter on the object. So if I've ever beat something first try, the stage will be completely clean. But for other levels, it looks like a freaking massacre took place. And it did. This game is tough. But the paint splatter isn't just to taunt you with your failures, it helps remind you where you've died, and it helps to keep in mind the spots you die at often so you can fix your mistakes. This game is great, I got really addicted to it and I've almost beaten the main story, but there is an endless mode and other stuff too, don't worry. I was told all the Pixel Dungeon games are great, but I only found one on the App Store, Shattered Pixel Dungeon. Now, I will admit, this game is just not for me, but I still want to include good games on here, even if it's not a genre that I'm a fan of. Dungeon crawling roguelikes have a lot to offer. Just looking at the multitude of items and upgrades I could collect is pretty intimidating. Basically, each round you're dropped into a randomly generated dungeon, with snakes and rats lurking around every corner. You can try to find every item and every room, or just run to the exit as fast as you can. You'll definitely want to get the upgrades though. Most of the times I died was because I faced a really strong enemy I wasn't strong enough to beat. The game has a little guidebook you can read if you're unsure of what you're doing, but for the most part it sort of expects you to experiment on your own, which is pretty cool. You get potions and scrolls, and it's kinda like pills in the Binding of Isaac. Sometimes you just gotta use them and hope for the best. There's also different character classes with some very nice art for each. I think I prefer the mage, as he can kill snakes before they even see you. I kept getting chased down by enemies and I'd try to run but just fail, or I'd try to attack and I'd fail that too. Obviously, I just need to learn how to encounter enemies correctly and be cautious before entering random rooms. This is a massive game, I assure you, and even as someone who doesn't play this kind of game, I really want to see what kind of other environments and bosses this game has to offer. Boss game is $7, which is obviously pretty cheap in comparison to most things, but mobile games are usually not so expensive. People really recommended it, and I want to see it was really worth such a high price. It's described as lesbian devil hunting action, and yeah, I'd say that's fairly accurate. It's a pretty story-heavy game, featuring our two main protagonists, who just so happen to be girlfriends. You get to know them both and their personalities and the dialogue, then fight as them both during combat. I really love the fighting in this game, it's unlike anything I've played before. You control Sophie with your left hand and Anna with your right hand, and you can either use small attacks, longer charge attacks, or you block by holding on their face. If one gets KO'd, you can revive them, but it takes a lot of your energy and is always pretty risky. Each fight is against a new boss with new attacks, so while you may not always win on your first try, you can go back in after learning their attack patterns. Obviously, that is the main draw of this game. It is called a boss game after all. But if you're big into stories and enjoy the art style, well, chances are you're gonna fall in love with this game. I really like the combat, but so far in the story, nothing has really got me invested, so we'll see how much I continue to play in the future. I'm sure it's very long, and if you play it all the way through, it would be more than worth your $7 purchase. Long story short here, Camabox has made the Bacon game and a ton of other extremely high quality games, and I could literally recommend any of them. But I saw they made a brand new game called PBJ the Musical. And it looks so strange and unlike any game I've ever played that I had no choice but to play it here. It's $4, so again, let's see if it's worth the price. Now, watching me play is going to truly be a nightmare. This is not a game you can watch someone else try to play. It'll be frustrating and maybe even sickening. And the worst part is, it's a musical, so not being able to hear it is going to ruin the experience.
That's what I'm gonna be when I grow up.
That's what she's gonna be when she grows up.
This is literally an interactive musical, and your job is to get the main characters through each stage. There are some parts of the level you can move around to push the little strawberry or the little peanut to the next point. It is so well made and so cute, and I want to love it, but if I'm being 100% honest, I got nauseous and a bit frustrated trying to get through it. I'd almost rather pay $4 just to watch it play out, because I'm genuinely curious how these two characters will eventually become a PB&J. Is it a Romeo and Juliet situation? It sort of seems like it. Every strawberry scene is super bright and sung by a female lead, and every peanut scene is black and white with a gentleman peanut who eventually gets cracked in half. The kid narration really brings it all together too.
Far away from the sound of celebrating confectionery, the salty peanut discovers a bitter truth.
I want to love this game, but I need to take breaks in between because I'm not joking, I got nauseous from it. I ended up just stopping now and again, and it made my experience a lot more pleasant. It's very short, so don't expect anything crazy either, but don't sleep on this game. This is art, and people clearly put a ton of effort into it. People have been telling me to play Pureya since the first episode of the series. There's a fully animated intro cutscene where your player character drops all her marbles on the ground. The gameplay is like WarioWare with microgames, and here are just a few of the many you can find. Flying a paper airplane while dodging balloons, platforming with a penguin, swimming as a squid, shooting asteroids, playing doodle jump, and so much more. After collecting marbles, you can shoot them into a pachinko machine, and if you get enough in the hole, you'll earn some prizes. From costumes to new music and even new minigames. I shouldn't have even bothered recording my first few runs because later on the game gets to max speed and each minigame looks entirely different. Just look at the difference from the pirate ship minigame's initial speed versus its max speed. It's insane! I unfortunately became immediately addicted to this game and played it for like an hour. It is a little tedious replaying these same minigames, so that's why I got so addicted to trying to unlock more. And there's so many fun secrets, like when the roulette loses but that number isn't ready to give up just yet. There's a tiebreaker high-speed chase and whichever number wins takes that middle spot. What a fun idea. Pureya is a super well-made minigame pack and I can definitely recommend it. Never Alone is a story made with the help from the natives of Alaska to tell a very unique story. A lot of the elements of this are going to feature ideas from this culture, which is pretty cool. Including the intro, it reminds me of a shadow puppet sort of style. But this is what the game looks like, it's pretty nice. Without a second to spare, there's a polar bear chase. And I thought it would be funny to get killed by him, but was not prepared for a fate worse than death. Holy shit, that was insane the first time I saw it. The chase is pretty long, this bear is determined. But just before we're cornered and ragdolled into oblivion, a cute little fox saves the day. You actually get to control the little girl and the fox, but so far the fox is way more helpful. He saved us from that bear, he can climb tall walls, and he can summon spirits to help create platforms. Why the hell is this child even here? Sadly, when we make it back to the village, it's been destroyed, and we meet a crazy looking character who is going to help us, I guess. I played a bit more, but I've really shown the basics of what Never Alone has to offer. It's really cool hearing the language of Alaska's natives and hearing more about what I assume to be their folklore. I love the fox, and I love how crazy this game has gotten so far, so I can only imagine where it'll go from here. Sometimes you come across a mobile game that looks so good it has no right being on your stupid phone. Here are some games I personally find beautiful. Just look at the title screen for Wild Wind. It's gorgeous. The game is kinda just about slicing up flies in the sky. Then your sister or wife or whoever gets possessed and becomes the boss in each level. Every time you switch environments, new enemy types are introduced, and the game gets way harder. Like when you're up in the sky, tasked with slicing up bad birds and landing back on the good birds to stay alive. Thankfully, the game is very forgiving the whole way through and is a nice, easy time to just sit and play all the way through in less than an hour. It's a cool experience and I won't spoil the end of the game for you so you can experience it for yourself. Now a completely different genre, solving a mystery in Tangle Tower. This game is released on every console now, but when I first played it, I'm pretty sure it was on mobile first. The game is just gorgeous. Every location deserves to be put up in an art gallery. On top of that, the game is fully voice acted, so you can just sit back and enjoy the game like you're watching a show. Except, of course, you're in charge of solving this mystery. I don't want to show everything or give much of the plot away to anyone who wants to play it themselves, so let's cut it short there. Just know this is an incredibly well-made game and there's a sequel coming soon I cannot wait to play. I don't think a minute-long section talking about Sky, Children of the Light is enough time to talk about it. If you don't know anything about it, just take one look at your screen, then go and download it before listening to me yap about how amazing it is. We start out just flying through the clouds, and it is genuinely breathtaking. The music is so beautiful too, and apparently the sound in this game is more than half the experience, and you're already losing half the experience by watching me play, so now you're losing at least another half without sound. What is that, 25% of the experience? You're barely even having an experience right now! Anyways, a storm knocks you out of the sky, dropping you on a dark, desolate island. You find a candle, heal a corpse into a new friend, and drag them along into the beautiful new village. In this village, I discovered NPCs that are real people, maybe? I kind of assume this has online, but in 2025, I doubt these are actual people, but who knows, right? If you become friends with them, you get to name them. That is some power right there. In this game, you're meant to restore light to these sky kingdoms. There doesn't seem to be combat or anything like that, it's much more exploration focused. The world reminded me a lot of Breath of the Wild, which might be a dumb comparison, but then text popped up talking about the kingdom crying. Now I see, Tears of the Kingdom ripped off this game. We're do you think they got the idea of Sky Islands from? As an exploration game, it seems to be very long. Here's the map of what I explored, and here's the entire map. You got a lot of places to go. The thing I love most about this game is there's no dialogue, only text on screen occasionally, so most of the story is a show don't tell sort of thing. For a game with such a beautiful world, that is the right thing to do. There are little flying sections between areas too, which are the best parts of course, and I can't wait to see how the flying gets more and more upgraded as I go. I only finished the first area here and had this much to say about it, so I hope I've conveyed just how wonderful this game is to all of you by now. Imagine I just said like one sentence for a second game. Poor Hack. Wait, Hack? The cool Metroidvania game? As a huge Metroidvania fan, I think I found yet another game I'm gonna play from beginning to end. These videos are ruining my free time. Just look at this style, man. It's completely different from the last one, but still so well done, so detailed. It reminds me of Rain World style a lot, and I suppose it helps that it just is raining. For a long time, you don't get a weapon. I really like how gradually this game introduces things to you. First, you gotta survive by running, like when a pack of dogs chase you down. Then you get your sword and whip and use them to beat up little guys and break through walls. Then we make it all the way to our first boss, get their attack pattern down, and own them, obtaining the dash move. I feel like these games just legally have to require a dash. And that's about all I played through here, just past the first boss. There are a lot of little buttons to manage on the right side of the screen, and I worry about that a bit, but I'm sure your muscle memory would get used to it. I'm pretty interested in this world. There was a hot teal-haired woman, and if she's in this game more, then you bet I'm playing it. Now, you can get it on Steam for $18, where it'll definitely be nicer to control and everything, but on the App Store, $2. What a steal, man. This game is worth way more than that. Did I mention there was a hot girl? Sometimes I just want my mobile games to look nice. I either want to see cool art or make cool art. So here's two games from the artsy games category that fulfill both sides of that spectrum. I found a game on Netflix called Crispy Street that I used to play every night before bed. It's a pretty simple hidden object game, very similar to Hidden Folks. These are both games I'd highly recommend if you haven't heard of them, but one I've never seen anyone talk about that filled the void for me after beating Crispy Street is Soup Soup. Not sure why it's called that, but it may just be one of the greatest hidden object games ever made. Why? Because every single level is in a new world. Every single level features a new artist with new characters and are so dang beautiful it's worth playing just to look at the art. And there is so many levels, it is actually insane. I cannot believe how wonderful this game is, and if you are at all interested in just one of these pieces of art I've shown, then I guarantee there's more here for you to love. This game is free, go get it right now. A lot of my viewers told me to include games from a specific developer, Protostar. They have a theme of making fairly high quality looking games, but none have stood out to me much before Dream Hopper. If you're looking for an exciting game, you're in the wrong place. This is a very chill game with lo-fi music playing in the background and everything. But once you've jumped from piece to piece, illuminating every line in the level, it'll zoom out to reveal your completed neon light masterpiece. I just love the style of these things. The use of vibrant colors and negative space make for designs I really want to see, making me want to keep playing the game. The one negative is that it makes you replay old stages quite a bit, but unlocking new ones and playing as your new characters with unique trails is always a blast. I'd highly recommend Dream Hopper if you like cool designs and chill games. I really think there are some wonderful games you can find through subscription services. I'd highly suggest using Netflix games if you already have an account. There's so many good ones there, I'm probably going to make another video on it. But Apple Arcade is a good one too, and there's a lot of cool games on there, but here are two of my favorites that I don't see anyone talking about. In the Wild Wind game we played earlier, there was a section with these swinging monkeys that instantly reminded me of my incredible experience of playing Gibbon Beyond the Trees. It is literally just a monkey simulator as you swing from vines and slide down tree branches all at your own pace. Going fast is kinda tough, but is always really exhilarating to pull off. It also focuses on a story of deforestation, and swinging away from a bunch of angry guys with guns as a monkey is a crazy experience. It does such a good job with this message. I'm sitting here thinking, man, I wish I was back in the forest where it's easier to swing, this sucks. And then I realized that's the entire damn point. But yeah, this game is an experience and just describing it can't do it justice. It's pretty short, I'd say it's worth your time. Spider is also not that long of a game, but it is an awesome idea. You're just a tiny little robot spider on top secret missions, and suddenly crawling from one desk to another is the biggest challenge in the world. Personally, once I got to the level inside of a plane was when Spider got really good. The level ends with you riding a bomb landing any minute while trying to defuse it, dude. We need more games that let you play as a spider, and better yet, just make them a spy while you're at it. You might as well. There are a ton of fun Apple Arcade games to try, but I want to see more love for these two in particular. Well, last time we played Apple Arcade games, so let's switch subscription services and move to Netflix games. I've coincidentally just made a video all about Netflix games. If you want to see more, they're surprisingly very good. But I had to narrow it down to just 2 for our Netflix games category. Storyteller is not just a mobile game, you can buy it on Steam too, but it works perfectly well on mobile, and I love it so much I had to include it. Each story is based on an old tale, like Romeo and Juliet, or Adam and Eve, or Oedipus? There's only one incest puzzle, don't worry. So basically, you're tasked with completing each story by getting the correct characters and events in each scene. There's a lot of weddings, mourning of deaths, pushing people off of cliffs, it's a great time. It's such an interesting idea for a puzzle game, and since it uses classic stories and characters, it's easy to understand the narrative you're going for. There's like 15 chapters and a bunch of bonus achievements if that just isn't enough for you, and figuring out the tiny little secrets these achievements ask of you is really fun. Storyteller is wonderful, and I can't recommend it enough. Guys, I was really torn between choosing Arranger or Paper Trail here. I decided I personally enjoyed Paper Trail more, so let's just give an honorable mention to Arranger first. All of your movement boils down to sliding tiles, so you can move yourself and other objects by doing so. It's a wonderful style and it is a great game, you should definitely give it a try. Paper Trail feels like an experience tailored for mobile though. The world is made up of paper. In order to cross chasms and follow broken paths, you fold the paper and create new ones. It's really difficult to wrap your head around, but it's such a smart idea I felt I had to recommend it. The different environments are really nice too, each so varied and well detailed. There's a lot to this one, it's a full-on adventure, and if you think it's going to be easy, you are dead wrong. Look guys, I really want to make a video covering every Nitrom game ever made. Nitrom is just a developer that's made oops all bangers for decades now, and there's like over 100 games at this point. And to convince you, here are 2 incredibly underrated titles from their massive library for our Nitrom category. My goal for this section was not to cover necessarily the greatest Nitrom games ever, or even the most well-known ones. I wanted to play some really great games that I don't see enough love for. In Colorblind, the world is so bright and vibrant, until our girlfriend is kidnapped. Then the world loses its color. So of course, as we explore this pixelated world, everything is black and white, but you can run past paintbrushes and palettes to pick up a new color, changing the platforms and objects ahead. Simply jump through a waterfall and you'll lose that color. Of course, you can already see the endless possibilities for this concept in a puzzle platformer. Barely avoiding spikes by hitting the waterfall just in time, push colored crates, jump over newly created enemies, and traverse backwards through a dangerous section you've been forced to create. It's pretty fun, and I'm excited to keep playing and see how many more mechanics they can introduce. I'm already at the second world, so I don't want to spoil too much more for all of you, but this is classic mobile gaming at its finest, no doubt about that. I happen to choose another color-based puzzle platformer here, but Hop Swap is pretty different. The world is split in half, yellow or purple, and you can swap between them by doing a ground pound. Your character automatically runs forward, so you can't stop to collect your bearings. All you can do is hop and swap. Again, there are so many ways to keep this concept going. Gaining height by swapping sides after a big jump, avoiding new enemies who can shoot at you, entering sections mid-air that you can swap between, and all the typical stuff you'd expect like springs and spikes and stuff. It's handled very well, and I adore the look of this game. What's crazy is this is all one big level, and if you choose to not buy any checkpoints, you could lose all of your progress. I didn't buy any for way too long. Thankfully, I finally caved right before I died for the first time. I am curious if the entire game is just this one level or not. I guess we'll both have to discover that for ourselves. I had 2 games on my list that didn't really fit the theme of any other, besides the fact that they both have endless modes, so welcome to the endless category. Ever wanted a Sonic game but good? The developer of Roller Rush has been putting out videos showing the new content ahead of this game, allowing viewers to make suggestions for future updates. That's a great way to make some dedicated fans of your game, I must say. There's not a whole lot to it. You roll around and avoid obstacles to reach new high scores. When you're going really fast, it's the most fun but also very difficult. There's also a bunch of power-ups that let you jump all around and stuff. You can get different rollers and biomes and just generally roll around at the speed of sound. It's nothing crazy, but I hope to see Roller Runner continue to get updated and become better and better. Laura Croft Relic Run was just another random branded Subway Surfers clone I was going to play for one of my videos. The game didn't even work the first time I tried, but it was so dang good I'm including it on this list because there's no other endless runner out there quite like the Tomb Raiders. Firstly, it has these cool cinematic moments that just make your adventure feel so much more exciting. But then all of a sudden Laura picks up a gun and it's an on-rail shooter. Didn't expect to fight lizard people in an endless runner, did ya? I played this game for hours and still it kept introducing new concepts to me, and I'm pretty confident there's more to see the more you play. This game is one of the best just because of how surprised I was at how good this random game was. And she ragdolls when you die? It's perfect! Pixel art is a surprisingly common art style for mobile games, and I have so many on this list I decided to give it its own category. Keep in mind there are a bunch more on here that could have applied here. A real contender for a simple category would have been Slime Room. Meant to emulate an older game, it's all pixel graphics and limited color palettes. It could not be an easier control scheme for this kind of game either. You start with very small levels, unlocking different color schemes and slimes to play as. You can even unlock bigger levels. The game really expands the more you play, which is so rewarding. Good games don't have to be revolutionary, and sometimes going back to basics makes for a really fun little game, with very few required ads to watch, might I add. Total Party Kill really tells you the whole idea in just its name. You control a team of 3 different classes, a knight, a sorcerer, and an archer. Each one has their own ability you can use to escape rooms, typically requiring you to kill a party member or 2 to do so. It's such a unique puzzle game, and I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. Killing off one of your team renders them unusable, and finding the correct order of operations isn't always as simple as it looks. I found it extremely charming and couldn't stop playing while recording for this video. It's a blast. I think Bat to Bed might be one of my favorite games I've played for the series. We've had so many bangers already. It's crazy we're still getting such good ones 100 games in. You're just a little baby bat trying to reach the top of this cave, and he'll fly back and forth automatically while you control his flaps. You can be doing everything right, dodging and weaving with ease, and then one little mistake will send you down, down, still down, and finally you land and you can get back up again. It's like Jump King if you've ever played that game before. But otherwise, climbing up and up and up is pretty fun, and definitely never frustrating. There's a checkpoint eventually where you meet the villain, this little ghost guy. He turns into his ultimate form, a balloon. Such a smart idea for this game, I can't believe it. You gotta bounce him up while avoiding obstacles at the same time. It was all going great until... No worries, I'll just land right here. Okay, that's fine. Surely I'll land that... Okay, we can speed this shit up. Yeah, I fell way down here. Don't look at how long it took me to get back up here and kill him. But yeah, that's the coolest part. That was all just the first level. I am absolutely gonna play more of this in my free time. But there's a very real chance it gets too tough for me to progress sometime soon. Bat to Bed is an awesome game though, and I'd highly recommend it. Dude, oops, all bangers? Bleak Sword is incredible too. I mean, just look at this art style. The characters are 2D and the world is 3D, yet everything is super blocky and pixelated. It's so cool. You're kind of just a little guy fighting his way through waves of enemies. You can charge to attack or block and counterattack. I spent the first couple levels exclusively countering each enemy, which was probably pretty dumb considering the amount of health I lost from it. But I finally got better at attacking and blocking. Slowly, more enemies are introduced, and some of them are pretty creepy. I love the monsters of this game a lot. These little group gremlins charge you down. They're tough to block. And of course, the first boss is a big group guy. I sort of just brute forced this fight. He hit me a lot, but I managed to hit him more. And each time you level up, your health regenerates. Then I immediately died in the swamp. What's cool is, even if you die, the game gives you one more shot to beat that level and recover your progress. I like that a lot, and if you fail, you only have yourself to blame. I died a couple times in the swamp, so I'll just call it quits there, but Bleak Sword is really fun. It's free through Apple Arcade, otherwise it's a couple bucks, but it is worth it, I promise you. No, you're reading the category name all wrong. These aren't dicey games, they're dicey game. Get it now? Alright, whatever, just watch the freaking video, chud. Just to put this out there, Slice and Dice is a really fun game. Even I had a blast playing it, but it costs $9 after the first level. Definitely try before you buy. But yeah, as you all know, these games aren't usually my cup of tea, but Slice and Dice is awesome. You have a party of 5 characters and they each have their own dice. Most of the basic ones just have a sword and a shield with a chance to miss. Swords attack enemies, shields block damage, simple stuff. You have to hope for good rolls to make it happen though, which makes it so much more fun. Rather than just an RPG with basic moves, now there's this level of chance and luck that makes rolling what you need really exciting. As you go, you get new characters with better dice rolls. There's so many different stats on these, like the purple ones that deal damage every time you roll. I love customizing my party and finding new favorite dice. And the enemies are well done too, each one has some sort of ability, and the bosses get giant dice that just add to their big energy so well. I don't think I want to spend $9, but I love the first level and I know a lot of you will too. Dicey Elementalist looks and plays quite a bit differently. It's not as polished as Slice and Dice, but it does what it can and has a cute art style. The monsters in this one are pretty crazy, I gotta say. Now you're in control of a single character, and the dice you roll have elements on them. Each round you get different cards to use, and you'll try to hit each of the requirements so you can play them all. I got one that needs 3 of a kind to earn 15 shield, and that one card helped keep me alive through the entirety of this game. I like the idea of it, and I'm glad it's so different from our last game. It reminds me of Yahtzee, and there's even little mini-games occasionally that just are games of Yahtzee. I died in the second world, but I had fun, and I like the idea here. Some mobile games are meant to be experienced as a series, and it would be pretty messed up for me to just choose one of them to try. Here are 2 series of games that people love and are great all the way through. The only reason I waited to cover Bart Bonte's Color series is because I'm not sure they're hidden gems exactly. I see them recommended to me on the App Store all the time. But they are really good short and sweet little puzzle games, and I've literally played all of them, so it's safe to say I'm a fan. Each game in the series is a different color, going from yellow to red to green to blue to pink and so on and so forth. He just made purple recently. I wonder what will happen when he runs out of the main colors. He's got like brown and gray left, and then what? Anyways, they all have unique levels, but they all follow the same idea. Every puzzle has little empty spots you somehow have to fill with the color of that game, and that can range from completing patterns, pressing buttons, placing weights, and the tried and true method, tapping randomly until the stage is solved. You can watch ads for hints too, but you're a cheater if you do! Just kidding. What's fun is there's never some sort of tutorial or information about what to do here. You just have to tap around the screen or shake your phone and figure things out for yourself. It's truly crazy to think he's still coming up with new ideas after 400 levels, but if you don't know who Bart is, he's not only a co-star on the popular animated sitcom The Simpsons, but he made classic beloved online games like Sugar Sugar, Factory Balls, and so much more. I'm sure he'll be making games forever, and the quality of these quick and lovely color games definitely get me excited to see what's next. The same reason I hesitated to cover the Color series is why I haven't played any of That Level Again games. It's an idea I've seen in quite a few games at this point. You play the same level over and over with slight changes each time. It's smart and makes for interesting puzzles. The first game is almost an exact copy of the old Flash game This Is the Only Level, only with a dark and sketchy art style. The second game is still the same idea, but has a unique identity this time, even adding a secondary room to explore, much more interesting solutions, and even some text-based puzzles. Definitely a step in the right direction, I'd say. The third game really steps things up, moving past just a singular room and giving you puzzles to solve through an entire course. It feels so much bigger and interesting because of this, despite it really just being more the same. Then the fourth game puts you in the first game again, but as a new character. It seems to all be the same until you break out, leading to by far the most interesting concept the series has done. I don't want to spoil too much of any of these games in case you're excited to play them yourself. They aren't mind-blowing, but they're charming little puzzle platformers with fun ideas, and they definitely deserve the support. Not every type of game is for me, guys, but 2 of the games from your suggestions stood out among the rest, and I felt obligated to include some games in a not for me category. So I know we had an entire pixel art section already, but I gotta say, Candies and Curses has quite an incredible animation quality. It's so clean, I really love the personality of it. Now the gameplay is really something anyone could get into. You run into ghouls and ghosts with your flashlight while trying not to get hit, and everyone loves a good ghoul. But it's a roguelite, and that's the part of Candies and Curses that puts this in the not for me category. I just don't like that style of game, but I have to say I did really enjoy Candies and Curses, and you get so many permanent upgrades it didn't even feel like it fit into that description very much, which is a good thing, in my opinion at least. The bosses are the most fun part for sure. It mixes up the gameplay further than just running back and forth for a while. You can even get other flashlights, changing your entire strategy. This is a very chaotic game and it's really growing on me. In the end, it might be one of the best games on here, I gotta be honest. Soul Knight, however, is absolutely not for me, yet I can still see why people love it so much. I'd just rather play a game like this with a controller, and even still, this is just not the type of game I enjoy. What I did find pretty cool was the wide variety of weapons. It would be really fun to find them all and figure out which ones were the best. Since I was a knight, I sort of assumed I'd be using swords and stuff, but then you get a big laser gun. I played through a few worlds, almost every boss I fought was insanely easy for some reason, but of course, if I played for a long time, this game would easily get challenging, I can already see it. Let me know if you're a big Soul Knight fan and what I'm missing out on by not playing it further. I've included at least 2 cat games in each of these videos. I don't think we really have a choice anymore, do we? There are simply too many incredible cats games that I don't think the category can ever truly die. Or, I guess the cats category is its official title, let's not get too informal just yet. The Fisher Cat is the type of game I get so easily addicted to. All you're doing is harpooning fish to collect money so you can buy upgrades for your air tank or your gun, or a new boat to travel to a new location. You also want to collect each type of fish, and there's a ton to see. There's even vicious ones that will eat the fish before you can collect them. You'd have to play for quite a while to make it to the next area, trust me, I tried to. But I did get this little bonus dream sequence in space, and that was a blast. There's even a little aquarium builder if you're into that sort of thing. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this game at first, but I generally can't stop playing it now. I think something's wrong with me. I want to unlock these other playable characters so bad. Yet another legendary cat platformer is here, Super Cat Tales. There's a few of these games, but people mostly want me to play Pause, so I will. Immediately, this looks like one of the cutest, most charming mobile games I've played in my entire life. It reminds me a lot of a Kirby game. But instead of infinite jumps, you have no jumps. All you can do is move left and right, and your cat will jump when it needs to. You can dash into enemies and climb up walls too. There seems to be a story here. I'm sure I'd recognize the cats I'm recruiting if I'd played the previous games. Each cat has a unique ability, and you can swap between them if needed. I made it to my first boss fight, and went and got a stern talking to from my adorable boss, and played some arcade games that are more in-depth than some mobile games I've played before. The next levels are sort of mountainous and deserty, and I even found a secret exit on my first try. If you love mobile game platformers and have never tried this series, I can already tell you're going to love it. Plus, there's cute kitties, so either way, it's sort of a win-win kind of scenario. I don't know what Nameless Cat is, but so many people requested it, it has to be good. The problem is, no one told me it was delisted from the App Store. Hopefully, it's just as good on BlueStacks, I guess. It's another cat platformer, very similar to Catbird, down to the pixel art and everything. The controls are pretty simple. You run and jump, and the one addition is to teleport. There's little shrines or something that you can transfer to, which leads to a lot more unique applications than I would have expected, like the movable blocks that have these shrines built into them. The little chase scene at the end of World 1 was really awesome too. There is somewhat of a story. You run into some very quirky characters, like the squid who can't get over how goddamn great they are, but the main focus is the platforming and puzzles. It's good. If you enjoyed Catbird, then good news, you got a whole new game to try. I made sure to at least reach the second world before stopping. I obviously don't want to spoil you all, but I had to see the new environment. It wasn't clear if people wanted me to try Cats or Liquid 1 or 2, so I guess I'm gonna play them both. Apparently this Liquid Kitty's owner abandoned them in this horrible dungeon filled with orange spikes and blue blocks. You can jump and slide up walls or become liquid and squeeze through cracks, going super fast. It's almost overpowered. Some levels I just skip past everything by sliding past it. The first world is probably a bit long as a tutorial, as once you beat it you're finally given your second ability. Steam? A bubble? Probably Bubble Cat, she can float now. At this point I kinda got bored and decided to check out the second game, and man, what an upgrade. The movement is so fluid and streamlined now, the graphics got a well-deserved upgrade. I don't have massive arrows taking up the entire corners of my screen. In this one we start out finding our group of liquid friends, who probably were in the first one too, I just didn't get that far. It was a blast speeding through levels with my 3 friends, it's like the most friends I've ever had. And then the world glitches and I'm all alone. We get our bubble upgrade once more, and we're getting used to the loneliness. Alright, if you're depressed, maybe skip this one. I can actually kinda relate to this lonely kitty getting used to being alone. I was not expecting to relate to this game out of any game, but I'm gonna leave it there. I played about the same amount of each one, and I would definitely recommend just skipping to the second one, but yeah, good stuff. I actually love nonogram puzzles, so I was excited to try Meow Tower. If you're unfamiliar, these puzzles just show you the number of filled-in tiles in each row, and you have to figure out which tiles those are. When you finish a puzzle, it reveals an image. They're usually pretty abstract, especially in the smaller beginner ones. The bonus of this game is the cute cats, of course. Each one has a room that needs decorating, so you collect currency to buy the furniture they request. We start with a pretty standard lazy and cozy cat room, before unlocking a rocker who wants a drum set and a bunch of other loud instruments. I like the concept, it's very cute, and I'm sure the puzzles get bigger and more fun as you play. Since we're so early in, they are incredibly easy, I did not struggle with any of them, and as far as I could tell there wasn't a punishment for missing a tile or two. Maybe you gotta mess up a lot for that to happen. Meow Tower is very casual and laid back, a stark contrast from the roguelikes we just covered. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I truly had no clue there were more Battle Cats games. I thought there was just one, and Battle Cats Quest seems to be the most ambitious spin-off. 3D Battle Cats? I've literally never seen them in any other dimension than the second. It's a King of the Hill sort of game, knock the enemies off before they can do the same to you. It seems to be endless as well, and wait a minute, is this a Battle Cats roguelike? I'm getting upgrades at the shop, dude, I think it is. I like how each animal has a different ability. Chameleons turn invisible, pufferfish get bigger the more you bump into them, and hedgehogs act just like Sonic, spin dashing you right off the edge. Fighting them was by far the toughest. Look how close they got to knocking me out. As you go, you can get new costumes. Unfortunately, all I got was an inverted color reskin, but still cool. Can you guess what eventually killed me? Some big guys? Nope, too easy. This bouncy panda? Almost. Nope, a single Sonic spin dashed me right out into the ocean. I thought it was unkillable for a second. It's not a mind-blowing game, not better than the original either, but a cute, harmless spin-off with a very fun gameplay idea. Let me know if the other Battle Cats games are any good. Who doesn't love a good mystery? I often find mystery games to be the most visually appealing genre as well. They seem to nail their art styles. And don't worry, these two games from our mystery games category will give you all the answers. We are fully prepared for the grand opening of our museum. All of the paintings are by the German artist Caspar David Friedrich. Everything is perfect until the great sneeze. This guy sneezed so hard he died. And now it's our job to fix the museum. Each painting has a little puzzle or a minigame to complete. So you can be lining up the correct mountains or playing Space Invaders, both equally fun of course. It's an incredibly short game that was funded by Germany, so there's no ads. It's completely free and looks really nice and clean. I love the art style and the way you can interact with each painting. If you want a short little puzzle game, just go download and play it. It's less than 20 minutes long, very cute and endearing, and it definitely deserves a love. And I promise I won't spoil the ending here. I have been itching to play Duck Detective: The Secret Salami. It looks right up my alley, and it just got a sequel. So I'm going to play through the first before deciding if I should buy the second too. The game is fully voice acted, and I wasn't expecting that, or the voice they'd give to the titular Duck Detective.
Oh, sweet, spongy loaf. You keep me safe at night.
Man, this guy goes crazy for some bread. He's got to get through his divorce somehow.
Hannah! I'm a different duck now. I haven't had a slice of bread in weeks. You have to believe me! Yeah, you're speaking to the Duck Detective.
I was happy to see it's very similar to another mystery game I love, The Case of the Golden Idol. Would highly recommend. Anyways, you find clues around the room, and once you have everything, you piece it together and solve the mystery. The first is pretty obvious, and I definitely didn't get it wrong. But then our first real case begins at the Bear Bus office. The receptionist won't let us in, but why? Well, you can do a quick examination, which is an amazing idea for this game, search around the room for a bit, and find the truth. It's her birthday and nobody remembered. That was some great deduction on my part. Here's where the demo ends, and where I try to convince all of you to go get the full game now. I'll probably get it on Steam myself. But the voice acting's great, the Paper Mario style characters are awesome, and probably an homage to that Mystery Train section of that game, and I just gotta know how a secret salami fits into all this. We've all played Lep's World and had a grand old time, but there has to be better mobile game platformers than this. I can prove it too, thanks to our platformers category. First up is Catbird. A strange combination at first, but a cat with wings means you can float around through stages. The environments in this game are incredible. I was blown away by the presentation. It's got a ton of stages and bosses at the end of each world. I was playing for a while before I realized I'm just straight up playing a whole ass game. This is the type of indie game you buy on Steam for $15 and just have a good time with, but I'm playing it for free on my phone. There's nothing mind-blowing here, but it is a solid, well-made platformer that is definitely more enjoyable than Lep's World. The whole Dadish series has some of the greatest mobile platforming you can find, so I just picked the third game, Dadish 3. He's a radish who just so happens to also be a father, a neglectful father. It looks like the kids are going to school, but there's a brutal freaking crash. One of the kids tell us they don't even go to school. They willingly got on that pedo bus, dude. While the graphics aren't as nice as Catbird's, it's not ugly, and the dialogue sections are honestly pretty funny. It's a fine game until suddenly Momato shows up, and then it's incredible from then onward. But for real, all the Dadish games are great little platformers. Let's make our platformer category a bit more broad, as I'm not sure one of these games really fit that description. So I'm changing the name to the side-scroller category. As if we didn't just play 2 side-scrolling cat games or anything. Holy shit, I don't think I've ever seen a game start with "this game was unfortunately made by Unity." Already this game is amazing. Welcome to Chicky's Chase, one of the most joyful, happy games that oozes with style and personality in every frame. Your character, starting with Chicky of course, runs automatically and you can jump or shoot. As you go, you shoot enemies and pick up coins to spend at the shop. There you can choose your upgrades for the run and buy extra items. There's tons of shopkeepers too, each offering something different, which is a really fun idea. It's also just interesting to take this gameplay style and make it into a roguelike. I've never seen anything like it. I will say, it does feel pretty slow. I kinda wish you ran faster or ramped up the speed each round, but otherwise I have no complaints. It's super fun. There's different characters with different attacks too. Pickle the Frog blows bubbles, which are weaker but can be used more often, and Ronnie is a melee character, only attacking up close. There's a fourth one I haven't gotten yet, so we can keep it a secret for you to discover. No matter who you choose, they're all adorable. And the list of cosmetics is very tempting because I want Pickle the Frog to get decked out. This was a highly requested hidden gem, and now I completely understand why. Talk about games with style, dude. Have you seen King Tongue? It's pretty straightforward. Your tongue is a grappling hook, and you either use it to swing around the stage or directly grab enemies. And that's it. Taking out every banana head wins the stage. I actually thought they were lemons at first. I was about to accuse them of throwing a lemon party, but they're bananas, so it's all good. Of course, as you go, more difficult enemies appear, more ways of enemies spawn each time, and if you get hit once, it is over. Trust me when I tell you this is one of the most satisfying games to swing around in. It's super smooth and seamless. Unfortunately, you have to play this game in offline mode, otherwise have fun watching an ad after every single level. The only thing to unlock are new levels and victory poses, which I think is perfect. Other than the ads, it's great. And trust me, you're gonna feel like a Tongue King too after playing. People keep suggesting more RPGs to play, so fine. Put the RPG category card on screen then, if you must. Alright, I won't be mopey, these games are actually pretty freaking good. Let's start with OneBit Adventure. I feel like there's a little bit more than one bit on screen right now, but I won't be the one to accuse them of false advertising or anything. It seems to be an endless game, it's even a roguelike, where your only control option is to move. You'll attack enemies by running up to them, but they deal damage to you too. I feel like defense has got to be one of the most important upgrades in this game. You are getting hit a lot. As you explore, you need to save up your healing items and find better weapons and armor, so when you reach the next difficult area, you're prepared. For example, when I made it to this Hydra boss, I died instantly. Now this is mostly my fault because I hadn't been taking my time, and the movement in this game is kinda like Crypto the Necrodancer. The enemies don't move until you do. You can stop and think about your next movement. But I wasn't doing that, so I died a bit. I used up all my heals and finally took the dang thing down. You at least get a lot back in return for beating it. It's a cool game, not really my thing personally, but there's a lot more to do here and I gotta wonder if there's an ending. If you've never played Evoland before and you like RPGs, man, you are missing out. Starting the game, you have one control option, move right. You unlock everything in this game, from sound effects to monsters and even color. But this game evolves as you play, which means, before you know it, the graphical style completely changes. It's so dang cool, it feels like playing through the history of video game art styles. And while the game starts out like a Legend of Zelda clone, with literal octa rocks and keys, the gameplay style completely shifts too, and now we're suddenly in a turn-based RPG. Isn't that cool? Throughout the game, it switches back and forth. There's probably other game genres in here too at some point. The graphics upgrade once more, we find a seed that turns us from young Link into adult Link, and eventually we unlock another party member, Ouija, and we head towards our first boss. We can only attack and heal at this point, so there's really no chance of losing. Once beating it, the game moves to the next generation. It's 3D now, and of course it looks like Dookie, it's evolving. You gotta play a bit more to get the textures in here. And I gotta quit spoiling it from there, but how cool is that idea? The game evolves as you play, you unlock every feature, it's incredible! And there's a sequel when you beat the first one. You're welcome. I am so unbelievably hooked by the art style of Stone Story. This takes text-based adventures to an entire new level. It seems like a typical game in that genre until you pick up a rock with an eye on it, and the whole world becomes visible. Everything is made out of text in this game, and they did not go light with it either. Look at these locations, how is this game so beautiful? It's in the wrong category. They crafted everything so well, I'm never confused what I'm looking at. Even the characters and enemies are so well crafted and animated. Just watching my character move is a joy. The basic idea is you move from location to location to collect materials and craft new items and tools. It's mostly an idle game in the main areas, which I don't mind. You can still choose your tools, and some items like the axe you can use an ability on, attacking a bit faster, but otherwise your character moves and collects items for you. You'll find treasures, eventually you'll make an anvil that can upgrade items, and you'll continue exploring new locations and getting new weapons and stuff. I made it to a massive spider boss and beat it with 1 heart left, and it was exhilarating! This is not typically my kind of game, but this is awesome, stylistically and gameplay wise. No ads, no energy system? I think I've just found a new addiction. It's gonna be tough to top Stone Story, but I'll give you a chance, Guardian Tales. This is a much more stereotypical RPG. I love how they combine little pixelated sprites with 3D environments and objects. It looks really good. It has a much bigger focus on story too. We start out as a silent, no-name knight. I was having fun messing with their sensor system since it tells you what word they're rejecting, but apparently I Will Kill is a perfectly decent name. The kingdom is blown up and we're saved by an angel. We team up with our friend to take out a huge demon minotaur. Then a big bad guy knocks us out of the sky and we're stranded out in the woods. This is when it becomes a much more typical mobile RPG. Just look at those menus. I assume we'll be able to build a party at some point, as random characters just seem to join me on my adventure all the time. The thing is, I am genuinely enjoying playing this. Do I just like RPGs, or are these both really fun games that deserve a spot on our list? Probably the latter, let's be fair, but this seems really great. I enjoyed what I played so far. Some people love to play games in landscape mode, while others prefer to continue holding the phone vertically. So our next two categories will feature a bit of each, ranging wildly in the genre of games themselves. Here are two completely different games that got me so worked up, I consider them vivacious verticals. As someone who plays Merge Mansion every single day unironically, I had no idea there was a good merge game I can play instead. Necromerger is pretty much everything you could want in a game. A cool art style, cute monsters who feed to an adorable little Kraken guy, and all the merging fun your little dopamine addicted brain could ever desire. I really like that as you level up, you gain more space to place items. It's fun to start really small and over time reach a bigger and bigger area. Your Devourer also craves certain items, and there are always a set of missions to complete, so you aren't just merging stuff with no end goal. There is plenty to do. And clearly there are more options here I haven't even unlocked yet. I didn't even get to the fighting part of the game until the second day I played it. Now yes, there is an energy system, and for these types of games, I think that's okay. You're not meant to sit and play this all day. You log on, spend your energy, which takes like a total of 2 minutes, and then you go about your day. That's how I play Merge Mansion, and that's how I will be playing Necromerger, because holy shit is amazing, and I can't thank you all enough for recommending this to me. You have actually impacted my daily life for the foreseeable future. Ninja Tobu is much more laid back, and not something you'd have to play daily. It is a game that works best holding your phone vertically though, as the sides of your phone act as the walls. You control a ninja that wall jumps back and forth between obstacles, killing enemies and reaching the end of each level, or playing endless mode, which is also pretty fun and has a lot more enemies and obstacles around every corner. I like both modes honestly, which isn't something I typically say. I'm usually all about doing the levels only, but for some reason, I think endless just works well for this gameplay style. It isn't trying to do anything crazy. There is a singular concept in this game and that's all it's gonna be, so I think it should be pretty obvious to you watching if this is something you'll like or not. Games in landscape mode are certainly not as elegant or attractive enough to be considered vivacious. I feel like they're much more down to earth and easy to get along with. Let's try some horizontal homies next. I played this game when it first came out, and I thought about it ever since, but sort of forgot what it's called. I've been reminded of the title, Please Touch the Artwork, and we're specifically playing the sequel here because I think it's just better. It's also free, and the first costs money, so it's sort of a win-win. You play as this little skeleton guy traversing through paintings that are actually paintings. This game has countless works of art inside of it. What a masterpiece! Anyways, the main gameplay is finding hidden objects in each piece. You'll find little characters who each request something of you, like finding hidden cats throughout the city. And once you find them, it'll open something new to do. Some of these characters are so funny, dude. The one guy that's eating a bunch, the other lady who dropped dead next to her praying husband, the lady who teaches you how to play the Tetris theme, and if you think I'm joking, you're a fool! There's also a villain running through and tearing up the paintings, leaving you to fix them as you go. It's beautiful, it's fun, it's funny, it's not too long, but it's not too short either. This may be one of the greatest mobile games of all time, so just play it already. We've seen so many platforms now, I keep wondering how they could possibly get better. And then we get something like Super Mambo Quest, and I can't believe I haven't had this game in my life until now. The movement in this game is so great, it's so much more fluid and fast than the majority of the platformers we played. It's not even really level based, this quest is in a huge world with locations to revisit and explore, and a home base to come back to when you die or need upgrades. Mambo himself is just a silly little guy, his tongue hanging out at all times. There's little gimmicks here too, like trying to collect every diamond in each area, or killing every enemy within a set time frame to achieve a Mambo combo. That alone makes this game incredible. Every single thing I could want from a game like this is in this game, all for free, and I'm having so much fun playing it. It's actually going to take longer for this video to come out because of it. Make sure to not waste too much of your time playing this one, but you simply have to download it now. I kinda typically play card-based mobile games that are super bright and cheery, like Plants vs. Zombies Heroes, which is one of my personal obsessions, and the incredibly popular Pokemon TCG app, which I may or may not be mentioning just so I can show off my cool cards like my Crown Rare and my Double Granny. But when I decided to include a card games category this time around, I ended up finding two games pretty dark and dreary, but don't worry, that doesn't make them any less fun. First up is Card Thief, and right off the bat, I love the presentation. This game visually looks really good. The tutorial is pretty long, but it has to be, otherwise you're going to be pretty dang confused jumping straight in. You are a thief, and your goal is to travel through the castle without getting caught and collecting as much treasure as you can. There are guards everywhere, and you can take them out, but it'll cost you some stealth points. If you run out of stealth points near a guard, it's game over. It's obviously more complex than that, especially with torches added in the mix, but that's the gist of the gameplay. You can also get upgrades and special cards to use, as well as different locations to visit, which is very interesting to me. I'd love to see what new enemies and such could be added later on. This is certainly not the type of card game I would normally play, but that doesn't mean I can't suggest it to all of you. So, I didn't intend for this to happen, I just naturally stumbled upon two really cool looking card games, and of course they're made by the same developer. Give me your card game suggestions in the comments and I'll play some other developers' games next time. I don't want to take Card Crawl off this list because it is still really good. This one I personally ended up liking a lot more. There's much less to learn this time. Your character can hold up to 2 items at a time and can store 1 in your backpack. You can pick up weapons to kill monsters, shields to block damage from attacks, potions to heal, or coins for your high score. You must remove 3 cards before more can be dealt, which sometimes means taking hits from enemies. There's also a few special cards that you can add to your deck personally, customizing the playstyle you plan to go for. It's really fun, I think. I don't play a ton of card games, so I'm curious if there's stuff similar to this because I've never seen it before. There's even more modes in the full version if you just can't get enough here. For both these games, I think they just have a nice style and vibe to them, and I'd love to try more games from this developer. Void Tyrant is a big game with rounds that last quite a while. I didn't even make it to the final boss on my run and it took me nearly an hour. Anyways, the gameplay is like blackjack but with weapons and monsters. You want a higher score than your opponent without going higher than 12. The bigger the difference is, the more attacks you'll do. With your additional cards, you can tag on bonus effects, especially when you're confident you're going to win. It's pretty easy to understand, but pulling cards is completely luck-based, so you really have to hope the odds are in your favor. The enemy design is pretty fun, and by far the bosses offer the best challenges. They put up a fight, and the ones I beat were very close battles. Since it's a roguelike, on your journey you can find new weapons and cards to add to your deck. The enemies only get stronger and smarter, so you'll need better equipment than you start with. It's pretty fun, pretty intense, and a really well made game for such a simple idea. I mean, it's literally just blackjack to the death. Cards, the universe, and everything feature cards with, well, the universe and everything. Seems like you could almost find any concept you can think of on these cards. There's different themes, like I got a bunch of dino cards, but then I also got a spinning Jenny and a tongue, so the possibilities are truly endless. It might be fun to get a card with something you like on it, but what the picture is almost doesn't even matter. Either you want a good ability, a good amount of points, or something to match the theme. Each game has 5 arenas with different themes for each, and you'll get bonus points if your cards match up. Win 3 out of the 5 arenas and you are the champ. Bigger number truly means better person in this game. That is your entire goal. Obviously there's strategies and stuff, but I'm just starting this game. I can't even edit my deck yet. It's a fun idea, and I'm really curious what the weirdest or most interesting cards you guys got were playing, because I never saw anything that crazy in my game. Everyone likes a challenge, right? I think most people play mobile games for a chill, relaxing experience, but in our hard to master category, we're looking for the exact opposite. I'm not huge on rhythm games, but I was immediately hooked when I first tried Spin Rhythm. It is by far my favorite game I've played in the genre, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist anymore. It only let me play the first 3 tracks despite having finished almost all of them when I initially played it. It took me a bit to get back into it, but man, when you get going, it is so much fun. Basically, there are red and blue dots to follow with your little spinner. You tap on the yellow lines and let it spin on the arrows. Those are the most basic controls, and when you're going at full speed with back and forth spins on top of everything else, it is so hard to keep up with, but feels incredible to pull off. The music is really good too, there are some great tracks in this game. If there's any way to still get this game, you gotta try it, and I'm really sorry if there's no working APKs out there or something because you are dearly missing out. Pivot is also insanely old, this game isn't even optimized for modern devices, but it's a classic, it's great. You start on a little voyage, and the game gives you a tutorial for every obstacle. Your only control is to spin left or right, so it's best to keep your guy in the back to be prepared for each obstacle. I beat the tutorial pretty quickly, then moved to Endless. I beat that on my first try because the obstacles were in the exact same order they're introduced in, and it was baby easy. Then you move to Expert mode, then Berserk mode, so on and so forth. Again, easy to pick up, hard to master. I love Pivot and there's no other games out there quite like it. This one is still in the App Store, by the way. Almost every mobile game that has ever existed could be on consoles or Steam or anything, and through making the series, I really wanted to include stuff that can really only be played on your phone. Some obvious stuff is like Pokemon Go that uses the camera and is meant to be played while you're out and about. Well, I'd love to recommend Garfield Go to you all, let's be real, and find some games made for mobile. If you've heard of Enigma Box, I'm sorry, but there's literally just a better version of that game called Black Box. Unfortunately, this only works on Apple phones, sorry Android users, but here's why. Each level is a puzzle to solve, except you can't solve them in the game. You might see a symbol like this. Do you recognize it? Enter the settings on your phone and switch to dark mode. Now the symbol shifts. Change back to light mode and boom, you complete the puzzle. Maybe you've copied a secret code you can paste into your Notes app. Maybe you could find someone else who plays Black Box and scan their QR code. And maybe you should try playing the game at different times of the day. But don't cheat! Winnie the Pooh has a great quote for why that's not allowed. Can you already see how amazing this game is? It's like a tech demo for your phone. I found settings I didn't know existed just by solving black box puzzles. Not everything is tied to exploring your phone though. There's one where you have to play the game at different elevation levels in real life, and others tied to your location. It was really fun just having these black box puzzles in the back of my mind, always ready to solve when the time was right. There's not great footage I can get for all that though, and besides, you gotta explore the game for yourself and find out what all these weird symbols mean. It's such a cool game, and obviously it only works on iPhones for a reason. This game also makes you pay for the full version, I'm sorry, okay? While we are including a rhythm category today, Rotano is very much a game that could maybe work on something like a Nintendo Switch, but was built to be played on mobile. If you watched my last video, it uses the same idea for the beats. Tap on the blues, hold on the yellows, pretty simple stuff. But then you activate your gyroscope. Now you have to line up the beats by turning your phone while keeping the rhythm at the same time. What a fun idea. You can surprisingly get a pretty good idea of how much I'm turning just by watching here. The numbers in the middle stay level, so it's a good indication of how it turns. I am very sorry if this triggers anyone's motion sickness. Now at the beginning, the turns will be very slight. When there's arrows on screen, you have to do a quick jolt clockwise or counterclockwise, but otherwise it's very nice to you. On the hardest difficulty, however, they did what I was really hoping they would do with a full 360-degree turn. Obviously, you could go halfway and then quickly turn your phone back, but the first time it appeared, I generally rolled around on the couch completely, which is so silly and stupid, but what game have you ever played that you got to do a barrel roll IRL? With a lot of these big rhythm games, these songs simply aren't for me, but the movement is so fun it's not a big deal. It's really difficult though, please don't judge too hard out there if you're a pro, I suck at this stuff. Really fun game though, it only costs $1.50, so that's a steal in my eyes. I'm not very familiar with rhythm games personally, it's just not a genre I play very often. And I think most of us know games like Piano Tiles or BeatStar, both really fun games, but I decided to go out of my comfort zone a bit and choose two games I've never heard of for our rhythm games category. Phigros seems to be the most requested one, and at a first glance it seems so basic I was a little worried. You tap on notes as they hit the line, occasionally holding or sliding when necessary. I like the yellow notes the best, you don't have to tap them, you just have to have your finger on the spot they land on. It feels somewhat generic, and then the line starts moving or spinning around and you're left fumbling with the notes as the line does its own thing. It's pretty cool to just change the directions of the game as you play, and it feels so much more lively even when it's just slightly moving to the rhythm. The songs here are pretty good too, although definitely not the type of music I jam out to. There's a lot of songs here though, all for free with no ads in sight. I'm so damn good at Rizline that people started calling me the Rizzler. I am in love with that logo, by the way. Phigros is almost like a tutorial for Rizline, as it uses all the same ideas, but now the line goes even crazier. There can be multiple at a time, just waving around or moving to different spots, and your task was following it and hitting all the beats at the same time. Keep in mind, this game is free to try, and the whole base game is only $1, and I'd say if you like Phigros, you'll probably love this one too. The animations are so smooth, it is a blast to play even on the easiest tracks. I'm not even a rhythm guy, but I enjoy the free version so much I might just buy the rest to play on my own. That's how fun Rizline is. There's actually a section on the App Store page titled Hidden Gems. Very on theme for this video. Apparently they want them to stay hidden, as is the very last category on the damn screen. Some of the games on here aren't that wonderful looking, so let's pick a couple of games at random I thought looked nice and see just what it means to fit the App Store's definition of a hidden gem. Judging Monobot by the intro, it does seem like a lot of effort was put into it, but as I played, I found it just wasn't that fun for me. The animations were not done very well. He has this little hopping animation that looks like he's hitting the gritty over and over again. And when you get this magnet upgrade, they didn't even try to make it look nice. I wouldn't mind it so much if the game was fun, but you just walk from point A to point B and making past obstacles isn't really rewarding. It just feels like more of the same. Again, I picked these games at random, but so far the App Store's hidden gems list isn't even close to the games I've been suggesting so far. We'll give them a second chance. Here's a very different looking game called Microtrip. You're inside of some sort of creature picking up white blood cells or something. If you run out, you die, and these black things take a lot away from you. It's just an endless game. You play for as long as you can survive, and that's about all there is to it. I somehow haven't mentioned yet that it uses motion controls, which is fine, just makes precise movement so much more difficult. It was enjoyable for a bit, but once again, I really don't know how this is a hidden gem. Good thing I'm making my own list. Don't pay attention to whatever Apple wants you to play. Despite these games being on the Play Store too, Apple has deemed them hidden gems in their own category on the App Store. Last time I went through and found games I didn't think were that amazing, which seemed wrong of me, so I revisited once again and found 2 games I actually want to recommend to you all. If you're a math nerd or maybe a devil worshipper, or both, you're gonna love the Devil's Calculator. It's fun to have these hand-drawn cutscenes here, gives the game a bit of a story. Your goal is always to reach 666 in every level, but you have to get there using the mystery function. Your job is to figure out what that function is. The first level is as easy as it gets. You add 4 to the number you input. Second level, everything is multiplied by 100. When you're working with big numbers, there's a built-in regular calculator you can use too, which is pretty funny. Now I'll be honest, a lot of the math-based ones I just beat by guess and check, which isn't necessarily wrong, but you also don't get to learn what the function was when you do it that way. Like level 10, I had no clue why this was correct, but it was. My favorite is the non-math related ones. There's a pattern here that isn't logical mathematically. Maybe every digit is being subtracted by 3, so 999 would equal 666, stuff like that. I'm so sad to say that, again, you have to buy the full version if you like this game. I swear this was not intentional, it just keeps happening. Go try it and see if you think it's worth paying for, I guess. Now, as far as I can tell, Puzzle Wizards is free, no full version required, finally. And I get to create my own character too? There's so many options for my little wizard. It's also one of the few match 3 games I've ever played that I saw potential in. By participating in these little mini games, you can collect resources to build your village. You can get new shops and locations or little items to place wherever you'd like. There's also big online worlds to explore and find treasure from. And you can meet real people, or at least that's what they imply. It could just be a computer player, who knows. But they can tag along with you to make things easier. For example, there's more than just match 3, they have little battle modes too. And in these battles you can work together with someone who joins you. That's a very cool idea. Maybe after a while playing these same match 3 games over and over would get boring, there's not a whole lot to it, but just the idea of doing this to build a town the way you want to build it is very neat. I also just like the personality of this game, it looks good and the characters have fun designs. It won't be for everyone, but with the plethora of phoned in crappy match 3 games out there, it was cool to find a bit of a diamond in the rough, I thought. For the penultimate section, I had 2 games that I wanted to give their own categories, but only found 1 food game and 1 fighting game. So this is our food fighting category. Kinda funny how well that worked out, isn't it? Now I'll be honest, I considered Good Pizza Great Pizza for our first list, but the art style looked really generic to me, so I decided to skip it. But people really wanted me to include it, so here we are. We started a new pizzeria, and on our first day, all we have is cheese pizza. Some freak just wanted plain dough. Get the hell out of here. I do like when these games let you place the toppings yourself. It feels much more hands-on that way. I would argue Papa's Pizzeria is just better, but that game doesn't have a narrative, and the way you make pizzas and upgrade your store is a bit different. You have to actually read and talk with customers to get their order, but it isn't as upfront with you on what you did well or poorly. You can't really draw much on the pizzas either. The best I could do is a smiley face, or this frowny face I fed to the homeless guy. I do think this game is a fun, chill time though. This is a lot less stressful than working in an actual pizza place. Of course, once the tutorial's over, it'll get tougher and tougher. Having the guidelines disappear is like taking the training wheels off, but even then, this is a pretty chill game. And all I'll say is if you love this one, definitely try all the Papa's games too. Now for the fighting part, Skullgirls. Look, I promise there's more to this one than jiggle physics. I think the best thing to look for in fighting games is the animation, and of course, the controls. As a mobile fighter, I think all the movement makes sense. Slide to dash, swipe up to hit in the air, and use 2 fingers to block. And the animations are really well done. Half the time I was fighting, I kinda just wanted to hold back and see what the new characters could do. I like the setting too. It's almost steampunk with some of the characters in particular, but set in this big city, and the music fits the vibes great too. I didn't pay much attention to the story. My mind was focused on the fighting, obviously. the fighting. I wasn't looking at your charts, I was talking about the fighting. But there seems to be a little bit of everything for you here, even customizable movesets. The way you unlock new characters is through a gacha mechanic, which some people love and some people hate. I don't like getting duplicates, so that was a bit upsetting, but it is fun to randomly earn what characters you'll be playing as, especially for someone like me who's just going to be playing for a little bit. I don't play a ton of fighting games, especially on mobile, so I'd love to hear any experienced veterans' opinions on Skullgirls. There's a ton of word games out there, but word nerds already know about stuff like Wordscapes, Wordle, Words with Friends, and they're sick of these words. Maybe my word games category can introduce them to a brand new vocabulary. In Retrogram, you're tasked with finding every single word using the middle letter at least once. I am no word wizard. I don't know of any weird or uncommon words, so there's no chance I'm ever going to complete one of these daily puzzles, but I do like randomly inputting letters in the hopes of discovering a word I haven't heard before. It's a good way to start the day, and it gets your brain working. The main downside here is it looks like you have to pay a subscription fee to play it every day. You can try out the neon theme, and that's cool, but unless you really love stuff like this, I'd just try it out for free first to see what you think. This game is brand new. I tried it and really enjoyed it and decided it had to be on our list. It's not your typical word game, considering it doesn't use real words. It's much more puzzle focused. Each fake word has a different effect, so spelling lock lets you eliminate a square. It can also help bridge the gap to spell more words. The second world introduces tlack, letting you clear 2 squares next to each other. Since letters overlap in these 2 words, you have to figure out which ones are needed to beat each level. Lastly, ta lets you get rid of all the letters of your choice, really making it a whole new game. It makes me feel like a genius every time I finish a level. I beat all the free levels in one sitting and really want to buy the full game because I had a ton of fun playing it. Give it a try, go support this very new game. I almost included Words Collide in my very first Hidden Gems video, and now we're finally getting around to it. I can't think of another word game that uses an upgrade system like this, but it works so well. It's a pretty simple premise. You just spell words with the letters given to you. If there are multiple words that overlap with the same letters, you can still make both. The bigger the word, the more points you get. They even visualize this with little books, and not so little books for spelling words like pleading. There is a multiplayer mode where you and your opponent can each place your own letters in the middle area, or single player with just 1 line of letters for you to work with. You start out with very few letters and barely any turns, but as you play you earn coins and can buy upgrades. They start simple, just giving you more letters to work with or more time, but eventually add new ideas. Here are missions to complete so you can earn XP faster. Here are new mechanics that completely change the way the game works and allow you to get even bigger high scores. It just works so well. It very gradually and organically allows you to learn each component of the game rather than just giving it to you all at once. You not only have something to work towards, but the game evolves because of it. Words Collide is so simple but still so genius. I'm a little hooked. Gubbins proudly proclaims itself to be known as a Scrabble on acid, and that description alone was all I needed to hear to make me want to play it. And it is by far my favorite word game I've ever played. On paper, there's not really any rules. You get letters and you can make whatever words you want. You can spell swear words and names and stuff too, it's awesome. There are occasional power-ups and obstacles you must deal with, forcing you to change the way you play a bit. I think the goal is for high scores, so ideally you'd want to make as many words as you can and then collect them all at once to build up a multiplier. However, at the end they let you make little designs with the words you spelled, and by playing more you can unlock more backgrounds and stickers and stuff. Admit it, Meddling Woke Demon would be a sick band name. I just love the freedom this game gives you, and the presentation is really nice. You're supposed to only play once a day or something, but you can just change the time on your phone and play as much as you want. Sorry, Molecano, looks like you gotta follow up Candleman. Poor Molecano. But still, what a fun, cute little word game. And I believe the guy who makes Dadish made this game. Our little mole is led to some free food, which is actually just a volcano. Classic mistake. Inside the volcano, we have to use words as bridges to collect each food item. It's so smart, it's like 3 word games in one, combining wordscapes and crosswords and Scrabble and probably so many more. It's just so genius. Or, well, I thought it was good, but there's a really bad mistake in the game. For some reason, it doesn't think MILF is a word, so yeah, go fix your game, buddy. In all seriousness, this is such an awesome concept. Other than just completing levels, you can unlock characters, and that's about it. This game isn't trying to be anything crazy, it knows what it is, and it does it well. Molecano is really great, and it flawlessly followed Candleman's lead. Flawlessly. Every word game so far has been exactly what you expect from this genre, but Maginary has so many words, it's just a book. But an interactive book with some incredible presentation, and it's a game because of the different little segments you read through. It's very similar to Black Box, a game I covered in my previous video, where it expects you to use the settings and apps on your phone to solve puzzles. But first, let us read. Alright, you clicked on this video to watch, not to read, I get it. So here's some cool stuff that happens. As you're reading, it might tell you to turn back a page or to shake the book to move forward with your journey. Pages might freak out or slowly lose all color, or even have little effects on descriptive words. What's cool is these sound effects try to line up with your speed of reading, so it's almost like a live audiobook or something. The biggest interactive bits in the demo are when you need to illuminate the grass, so you turn your brightness settings up, or when you must face your phone southeast and it wants you to check the compass app. Or you can brute force it like me and just spin in a circle until it works. I really love shit like this, games where you have to go outside the app to solve puzzles. This sort of game can't be played anywhere but on your phone. Made for mobile, some might even say. I'm considering buying this full game because it's an awesome idea, but even if I do, I'm not spoiling the rest, Buster. This is a book, go read it. And if you try to leave a comment telling me you're illiterate, you just self-reported, dumbass. A lot of the games on here were actually from you guys on a community post I put out. Here are 2 games I read about and was instantly intrigued by and are suggested by you category. Also, 80% of these games were all from you guys, so thank you. With the old Windows looking graphics of Progress Bar 95, I was immediately interested. Little blue squares drop and fill your progress bar, but you gotta avoid the orange and pink ones. The better you do, the more upgrades you get, and the more difficult the next level becomes. You can unlock different backgrounds, and the trash bin can be your virtual pet, and you can just mess around with all these Windows 95 features. I just love how the game evolves each time, like bouncing a ball on your progress bar while avoiding all the bad stuff and filling it to 100%. There's a boss fight in this insane game. There's Minesweeper and other modes to unlock, you just gotta play and find everything. I'm definitely gonna keep playing this, I'm just so curious where it's gonna go. If you're like me, you'll be a bit put off by the sketchy graphics of Death Palette. It's unlike any of the games here, being mostly a virtual novel. There is quite a bit of personality though, as this painting instructs you to make what she wants. If you fail in any way, you get a brand new death screen, which is a nice touch. If you like visual novel stuff and short little horror games, then I'd suggest you give it a try. I haven't finished the whole game yet, but I'm curious how you escape the curse of this evil painted lady. Don't let the name fool you, bullet hell is heaven for the right crowd. Not everyone's gonna love these games, but it's a big enough genre I thought it probably deserves its own dang category. 20 Minutes Till Dawn is one of the most requested games I've gotten for the series, and considering how popular Vampire Survivors has become, it definitely makes sense. Because yes, this is a Vampire Survivors type game, and there aren't necessarily bullets covering the screen, but there is countless enemy fodder in every corner of your screen. You kinda just shoot while you run away, then come back to that spot later to collect all the XP you dropped. With XP you get upgrades to your health or attack, or you can get little bonuses like a shield or an additional weapon or even a dragon. That's the most fun part for me, just trying all the different upgrades and after a while having a lot of extra stuff helping you to beat enemies. It's called 20 Minutes Till Dawn because the standard mode is to survive for 20 minutes, or you can do endless, your choice. It seems like a cakewalk until the freaking Fortnite storm closes the perimeter around you. How could I possibly survive in here? I watched like 3 ads to keep reviving myself until it finally went away. Anyways, this is a pretty hectic but fun time. I'm terrible at this shit, but maybe I should just keep playing and get some practice in. The enemy designs are really strange, I'm curious what the lore of this game is, but if you like Vampire Survivors, or even roguelites in general, you'll probably love this one. But that's sort of a subgenre of bullet hell games, right? Let's get down to basics and play Bullet Hell 100. This is more of what I imagine when I think of this style of games, just bright circles and lines across the entire screen. And you see that tiny little rocket ship? That's me! I gotta kill these snowflakes before they kill me. They give you some easy ones to start with, where you can learn the movement of the different attacks, but by the end, Jesus Christ dude, I can't even tell if I'm dealing damage to anything. I'm completely locked in on just surviving. Obviously, the more snowflakes you kill, the easier the level gets, but some are just so overpowering they could probably kill me all on their own. There's a ton of levels here, and obviously I'm not good enough to see the hardest ones, but if you are a bullet hell fan and somehow haven't played this one, I feel like I've just supplied you with your new obsession for the next few weeks. You're welcome. Alright man, I don't really like roguelikes personally, but other people do, and there's a lot of really great ones out there. I truly have no idea if these games are actually good, so please let me know if these were good choices for our roguelikes category. And if they are actually roguelites, you better not correct me in the comments, I don't want to hear it. Guidus has a really well animated intro, I love it. Once you start, you can choose your class. I just went for a simple swordsman. The controls are as basic as it gets, which is super appealing to me. You just swipe in the direction you want to move and swipe to attack an enemy right in front of you. Easy. You can choose your first upgrade, and I think I made the right choice. The first boss summons little enemies, and to be honest, my meteors did most of the work. But the real boss is a Frog King, who I sort of just ran up and killed even though I had a single hit left in me. We rescued the beautiful princess and begin the real game. I chose a different class this time, the Thief. He's pretty similar though. Traversing the dungeon, you can find keys that you can use for secret upgrades, which are crucial. One of them gives me this OP cloud that deals damage to enemies nearby. It made this Slime King boss trivial. Rescuing the Monster Scholar made me realize a bunch of gooners suggested me this game, didn't they? We move to the next floor where the enemies start to get tougher. They're red now, that's scary. But once again, I handled it all pretty well. Then fought this big knight damageless. No biggie. I like to say I continue doing this well, but I died to some pretty BS attacks at the end of the journey. Not fair, dude. I really enjoy this, honestly. Now, if only I could just pick up where I left off, I'd love this game. But no, you start over and lose your upgrades, which is where I lose interest. But it's pretty fun and super simple, so it's easy to get into, even for a newbie like me. The description of this game says it's a roguelike, but it kind of just feels like a turn-based tactical fighting game. Maybe I wasn't good enough to get to the roguelike stuff, I don't know. Anyways, ENYO features this little guy with a shield and a hook. He can push enemies into lava or spikes to kill them, or use his hook to pull them from a distance. You can jump and stun enemies too, but it won't kill. It seems simple enough, but when you actually go to fight enemies, their movement is really strange, I feel. I just couldn't personally figure out where each enemy would end up per turn. And the stupid bomb guy is so annoying, what a coward. The goal is to rack up points by killing enemies one after the other, and finish level after level with different environments and enemy types. It's a fun art style, and the way you attack is pretty unique. People like this game, and I wish I personally liked it, but I think I'm just too bad, so I didn't have much fun with it. I'd prefer just have levels with the same enemy positions, but that would be more of a puzzle game than a tactical game, I guess. Still cool, still deserves a shout out. We've definitely had some puzzle games on our list, but it probably deserves its own category, right? Puzzle games are typically my favorite types of mobile games, and it was really exciting to find two very different types of games. So there's this little indie game not a lot of people have heard of. It's called Block Blast. It's pretty small. It really needs some promotion. Okay, I lied. Block Blast is like the biggest game on the App Store right now. But if you want a fun little twist on that gameplay, then here's a new puzzle game, Brokey. You've got to fill the square while killing each demon within it, and you can only kill one demon per block. Each chapter they introduce a new mechanic too. There's trees that split up the grid, there's demons that take 2 hits to kill, making you overlap your blocks, the 4th chapter has an extra block each level that isn't needed to beat it, the 5th chapter has humans you have to avoid killing, and finally the last chapter combines everything into a genuinely difficult challenge. I kinda wish there was more overlap between chapters, as the last chapter is by far the most fun and difficult to solve, but the other chapters have difficulty too, and while it seems easy at first, if you make it far enough, you'll start to get stuck. I thought this was a fun spin on the Block Blast type of game, and isn't #1 on the App Store.
Pythagorea
is a game I would literally never play. The second I finished geometry class in school, I basically vowed to never look at shapes ever again. But if you generally do enjoy geometry, this is definitely the game for you. From parallel lines to isosceles triangles, this game has it all. Each section starts off nice and easy, but eventually you're tasked with actually understanding things and doing math to solve them. I'm sorry, do you know how long ago I graduated from high school? I can't be caught doing math anymore. You think I remember the Pythagorean theorem? The tough part is you can't use measurements to place a line anywhere, you have to make lines to place points on them. That is just so much harder. I managed to finish these circles and point symmetry sections all on my own, and I'm pretty proud of that. There are 28 different types of levels in this game, and honestly, use this app to practice geometry if you're in a class. Show your teacher and get some extra credit or something. To some people, this game will feel like homework. Creating parallelograms and making perpendicular lines to solve puzzles isn't that fun for us, but you math nerds out there are gonna go nuts for this. And the best part is, the more puzzles you solve, the bigger your tree grows. That's a cool idea for a very intellectual puzzle game. Nobody's is a pretty dark game. You're in charge of cleaning up a crime scene and discarding the body. The tutorial is pretty straightforward. You just shove the body into the hole and then cover it with cement. But after that, you're completely on your own, and mistakes are extremely easy to make. Like, apparently I'm not supposed to kill this guy, silly me. I'm supposed to drug his coffee, throw the body in the fish tank, and let those fish eat the evidence. The levels seemingly only get bigger and bigger. After I stepped on some landmines a few times, I managed to follow a path with my metal detector and reach this base with a big helicopter hiding our dead body and a big old tank in the back. I kinda got lost a bit, to be honest. The game is a pretty good idea, and I'm just a fan of this genre of games, so I had a good time still. There's a couple sequels to it too. I just played the first one, so if you're really into it, there's a bunch more to try now. Just play in offline mode or you're going to be bombarded with ads. As someone who doesn't like chess, doesn't know chess, and doesn't play chess, I was extremely skeptical to include Pawnbarian, but don't worry. You absolutely can love this game as a big chess fan or a clueless idiot like me. I've always wanted chess to be more violent, more chaotic, and we really achieved that here. It feels like a similar idea to Card Thief, but tied to the rules of chess. Each piece still moves you in the same way around the board, but now you either need to kill monsters by bumping into them, or getting out of the way before they attack. You can also pick up pieces with little bonuses, like a shield or an extra attack in the spaces next to you. One thing I never ended up learning was what each enemy does. Sometimes I'd be unable to kill them and I just didn't know what the reason was. I think I did pretty good for my first try though, just losing to the final boss at the end of the dungeon. But I enjoyed it so much I definitely want to beat it now. There's more levels, but that requires the full version, which is $5 FYI. I feel like we've had a lot of those in this video, so definitely be careful how much money you spend on these games. Hopefully I've helped give you an idea of whether you'd be interested in them to do so. Look, I'll be honest, I had 2 puzzle games here, and then I found an incredible hidden gem with only 20 reviews called Candleman, so I changed this to the extremely hidden gems category and just kept one of the puzzle games, okay? Okay. Let's start with the puzzle game, Close Cities. Basically, you need 2 connecting squares to complete a city, and each city must be on a road. But cities can't touch, they have to stay separated. Your goal is to fill in the space of each level as tightly packed as possible without the cities touching, and it's pretty fun, I gotta say. It got my brain working on overdrive, and I felt super smart each time I completed a big stage. After a while, it switches to 3 squares per city, completely changing the game. Now each city takes up more space and can be angled in multiple different ways. I have to wonder if it'll keep going up. I made it to the 3rd world trying to see, but it's still just 3 squares per city. But man, already by the 3rd world I was struggling. It's pretty cool how each one has a unique theme though, it helps keep things interesting. This isn't a complex puzzle game, but I think I'm gonna keep this one, I really enjoyed it. Alright, now we can cover Candleman. I saw the icon on this game and thought, wow, that looks good, and then saw it had less than 20 reviews that were all 5 stars. So we're playing Candleman, and we're gonna give this thing some attention. You are the titular Candleman, and when you tap it, your wick gets lit, but you can't hold it for too long or you'll run out of candle and die. So hopefully the footage is okay to watch, considering the gameplay is just flickering the light every once in a while to see where you're going. It's a bit aimless at first, I'll admit, just simple platforming in a weird wooden land, but soon we reach a watery area. Turns out we are inside of a sunken boat, which makes so much more sense, and this water's freaking me out. That's like the natural enemy of the candle. After a fun little crate ride down the lazy river, we reach a door to unlock, venturing into the library. This is by far the coolest area I've played yet. The atmosphere is just spot on, and the pages of the book squash and stretch as light peeks through the windows. There's even some mystic bottles that help you float. Man, I'm just adoring this game right now. But what is that light? Why does it change the environment? Well, it's the lighthouse, and what is a lighthouse if not a giant candle? So clearly this is our end goal, we need to make it to that lighthouse. The next area proves water actually isn't the natural enemy of a candle, fire is. How could I have been so blind? This chapter is alright, the fire gets old pretty quick though. Not to worry, in the next section we escape the boat and make it into a luscious forest. There's plant life all over. And that's where I'll quit my little demo, but just look at how pretty that is. And look at all the dots down there, we're not even halfway. This game costs $5 and is worth so much more. The atmosphere alone is awesome. It's spooky, but not scary. There's voice acting, there's hidden secret candles, there's fun platforming, there's Why the hell do I have to justify you buying this game? And more importantly, why the hell have you still not went and bought this game yet? Jeez Louise, are you dumb? Look at your screen! If this ain't a hidden gem, one of the greatest finds of this series even, then I don't know what is. We finished each of these lists with our not so hidden category, which we'll do today as well, but first, I'd like to try the opposite. I kinda need to repent for clickbaiting with Geometry Dash and Battle Cats, two insanely popular games, so instead of just 2 recommendations, here are 4 games that have almost no reviews that definitely deserve more love. This is the extremely hidden category. First is Samurai Shaver, which is totally free and only has 13 reviews on the Apple App Store. It's a very quick and mostly painless rhythm game. Well, painless for us at least. These poor men being shaved better hope I have good rhythm. I mean, this is literally it. Just a fun little idea that reminds me of a Rhythm Heaven or WarioWare minigame. You cut the hair on time with the beat, just repeating the same rhythm shown a second earlier. Each level has a different song, and once you get towards the end, it's not going to be as easy as it looks. The last level has 22 guys and so many rapid fire sections. I like at the end how it even shows you how many you shaved and how many you sliced. The absolute best part of this game is the music. I would absolutely use any of these as background music for one of my videos. They were all made by the creator, and there's an option to just listen to the soundtrack in the game, complete little descriptions of the process of making each piece. It's not a complex game, but I'd say it is extremely underrated. There's a better chance you've heard of Moonleap, as it's also available on Steam and was much more popular there. On the App Store though, it has 1 review. That's crazy. It is a $5 game though, so with barely any reviews, it's pretty hard to make a case for people to want to buy your game, I'd bet. I mean, just look at the opening cutscene. This is an extremely beautifully stylized game. It seems to be a puzzle platformer where your goal is to collect all the flowers in each level. The problem is, every time you jump, you switch from orange to purple, changing the level structure too. At one moment the ground is completely safe, and another there's spikes everywhere. I love the little additions we see later on, not just the enemies, but the flowers becoming sentient and running away from you. It reminds me of the goofiness of Mario Wonder, it's such a blast. There's also a ton of cool secrets. I got into this weird room where there's a hidden puzzle to jump a little later than last time you jumped about 8 times, symbolized by the lights up top. And you get a brand new character for this. I like the little moon guy better, but that's so cool. When you finally get comfortable, bam, everything has changed and now moving left and right changes the level. In some ways it's way more difficult like this, but you can also cheese the game a little bit. I feel like this was not the intended solution here. I 100%ed it in one sitting and it's probably my favorite game in this entire video. Moonleap is so full of personality and fun level design. It was worth way more than $5 and sure, maybe get it on Steam if you prefer, but it's great on mobile too. Shadow Trick is similar but offers a much different gameplay mechanic, playing as your shadow. I love that very much, suddenly transitioning to the background and jumping on the negative space. You can use this to get past obstacles like fire or bypass these glass blocks that don't have a shadow. Screw water levels, I can just walk down here. There's unique shadow enemies though that can really make it tough to stay back there. It can get a little confusing at times, but I'm sure the more you play, the more slick you get at everything. I like the style too, it's not super detailed but still very cute. You can only take 2 hits before you die, so this is not an easy game either. The demo version lets you fight the first boss, a little coin pouch, and then the rest of the game is behind a paywall, as you've gotten used to throughout this video. Go give the first set levels a try and see if you want to keep going. It's pretty well done and such a great concept for a platformer. Our last game in the category is a spooky game, making up for my lackluster spooky category from our last video. Moth Lake costs $4 and only has 8 reviews on the App Store. Again, you can get this one on Steam, but it's nowhere near as well known as Moonleap was. It's actually most popular on the Play Store, probably because you can get it for free there. Anyways, they don't even give you a second, there is immediately a big scarecrow monster at the foot of my bed. There's definitely going to be flashing lights in this section by the way, protect your eyes please. As you traverse through the house with your dog, he runs outside and we foolishly follow. My character apparently hates scarecrows, and if all scarecrows look like that, I think I'd hate them too. Now, we really start to get chased. This guy isn't even playing around anymore, he'll just kill you. We hear breathing in this log, so of course I wanted to see what was in there, but apparently that was somehow the wrong choice. We get chased through a sewage pipe, and after this, I'll be honest, I got confused. There's a walkthrough button in the menu, and it's really cool because it jumps to the exact part in the video you're at. How'd they do that? We stare at our doll as we complete the first chapter, and that's where I'll wrap up. This is a pretty big game I think, and I'm definitely curious what the hell is happening because it just drops us in this world with horrific scarecrow monsters. And definitely don't hesitate to try it on Android where it's free. Alright, now that we've covered some genuine hidden gems, let's play Mindustry and Monument Valley. Let's end with our not so hidden category. So people love this type of stuff. If you're addicted to Factorio, then I guess you just love these kinds of games. I am not one of those people, at all. I am solely here to talk about Mindustry because people love it and think it is very good, and I can promise you this gameplay won't be exciting or well done because I literally have no goddamn idea what I'm doing. So if you actually like Mindustry, you'll hate this, and if you don't like me, you'll still hate this. This section is for nobody apparently, but here we go. The idea is to collect resources to build supply chains for your weapons and defense against oncoming waves of enemies. Building satisfying and efficient systems seems to be one of the main draws. Of course, getting further in the campaign, discovering new resources and stuff to build to make everything you own work better and more seamlessly, that's what Mindustry is all about. I think. If I'm wrong, don't hesitate to correct me. I'll try to herd some comments from fans of the game who have a better understanding of all this. My game broke before I could finish the first area, so I think this might be a sign to wrap this up. Now, Monument Valley, on the other hand, in my opinion, one of the greatest mobile games ever made. Now that I can explain to you confidently. It's so simple, you just climb towers and get squawked at by crows. It seems so basic and uninteresting on paper, but the mind-bending optical illusions that help you cross seemingly impossible gaps and create walkways that don't make sense is oh so fun and satisfying. Not to mention, this game is just beautiful. It's pretty and fun to look at and easy to play all the way through in a single sitting. You weren't playing Monument Valley for difficult puzzle solutions. You play to enjoy the optical illusions, take in the pretty levels, and experience a game unlike any other. I wouldn't want to spoil too many of the levels for you if you somehow never played it, but trust me, if you think the early stuff looks cool, it will only get better. I will always love Badland. It's Flappy Bird, but dark, edgy, and pretty dang brutal. Saving these little creatures is a lot more difficult than you might think. When you have a huge group of them to control, you just know the majority of them aren't making it to the end. I love all the different power-ups along the way, making you bigger or smaller, slower or faster, or one of the most fun ones, spinning at full speed. The early levels are just plain fun, but the later ones are insanely difficult. I don't know how they expected to beat them on the first try. I think the style is so cool, with bright, diverse backgrounds contrasted by the silhouetted foreground. I played so much Badland in my life, and maybe one day I'll finally get through the entire thing because it is so much fun. And lastly, the game most requested for me to cover, and is no doubt so popular I'd be surprised if you've never heard of it, the Battle Cats. I've personally never gotten into it, but every time I've tried it, I've always had fun. You're in charge of the titular Battle Cats, of course, going up against the Battle Dogs. Who else? Your goal is to just keep building up your army until you can overpower the dogs and take down their fortress. From there, you can upgrade and unlock new cats, continue playing more longer and difficult levels, and watch in complete awe as the cat god graces your presence. Battle Cats is certainly not hidden, but it is an amazing game that is still going strong to this day. We've got yet another beautiful game on our hands, everyone. Welcome to Alto's Adventure. This game and its sequel are both free on Apple Arcade, which is awesome, but only cost $2 if you want to own them. Alto is a snowboarder, and his adventure is wrangling all his lost llamas down an endless mountain. As you play, you get various missions to complete. I think this helps keep me playing the game personally. Rather than just trying to get new high scores, I can also complete challenges. The world of Alto's Adventure is not stationary though. You snowboard through a day and night cycle, and before you know it, the lights are out and you're still jumping over rocks and getting chased down by some rando. I really want to get super far to see if there's more events like that in the game, but man, this is tough. I do love just getting to do flips after big jumps or narrowly dodging something. And of course, grinding on the buntings, you can't really beat that. There's just so much life in this series, even if it is just Tiny Wings but with a man. They have created a beautiful mountain I will never get tired of exploring. And then, we're literally just playing Geometry Dash. You guys wanted it so bad, but there ain't no way you've never heard of Geometry Dash. And when are they adding this to Apple Arcade too? It's fine, I guess. I do just own the full game already. So for pretending you aren't familiar with this one, Geometry Dash is an auto-runner platformer mixed with a rhythm game. Most of your jumps and movements are tied to the music playing. And when I tell you the music in this game is incredible, you really have no idea unless you've listened to it. The music is just iconic, truly. And most of it's copyrighted, so I'm probably playing Time Machine or Electroman Adventures right now. Anyways, I've always loved the first 6 or 7 levels the most, probably because I'm not skilled enough to beat the actually difficult ones, but there is a real learning curve here. Get the hard to master title card on screen right now. Geometry Dash deserves it. I really love practicing a level long enough to successfully beat it eventually, and even going for the coins if I'm confident enough. I earned just enough to unlock Deadlocked and completed a measly 8% of it. One of the greatest aspects of Geometry Dash is the level creator. Thanks to other players, this game is infinite, and as long as it exists, you will never run out of new levels. Obviously, you play the popular and well-rated ones. We all know games like Mario Maker are filled with slop from random kids just randomly placing objects, but I digress. Geometry Dash is a timeless classic, and even if you're like me and can only beat the first set of levels, it is still so fun to just replay them again and again. Now, what is this here? Obviously, I'm gonna pick Dan. He's the man! This game needs no introduction. It's like the classic mobile game. Fun platforming, fun fighting segments, it's got it all. I do genuinely love how it controls. The fighting combos work really well and the movement of everything feels perfect. Getting to unlock new and stronger combos as you play is really the only thing I need to want to keep playing. I love the little anime cutscenes too. Pretty much every level has them. That's dedication. And so far, I've only fought this robot boss, who is a glorified Bowser with that ground pound, let's be real, but I'm super excited to fight more bosses soon. Like I said, Dan the Man is classic. It's crazy if you haven't played it before, and crazier if you haven't heard of it. This is Half-Brick firing on all cylinders, and it definitely deserved a spot in one of these videos. There Is No Game is also a classic, but I've played the original in my Flash game video before, but I have not played its sequel, which from what I've seen is a really awesome game. So I bought it and I'll show you guys a bit of it, and then I'm gonna hunker down and play the rest immediately after. There Is No Game is all about trying to get you not to play. I love the little details, like please exit the game when the symbol appears on screen. It starts with an homage to the first game. We mess with the title, breaking off every letter until it's completely rebuilt. Then we destroy that one and find the play button. But now there's a door with a key on the other side. Slide the flag of France under the door, catch the key as it falls, and open it up. You're always having to break the game and find stuff like a cog in the loading menus. Then we're put into a fake OS system. From here you can find the computer's dirty private images, decipher the secret code, water the tree and find a nut for the flying squirrel, and collect the key. From there we travel through each language chasing after Mr. Glitch, and each time we're transported deeper and deeper until... well, that's ominous. And there is where I will leave things for you. That's chapter 1, and each chapter is completely different, but you'll have to see what I mean when you play it for yourself. It's a brilliant puzzle game and it's so fun breaking different genres. I cannot wait to play the rest, and I suggest you do the same. I really can't believe I've covered 120 games in this series. It is pretty much impossible for you to have not found a game you like at this point. There are thousands of mobile games to choose from on the App Store, but it can be so hard to find the diamonds in the rough. I know from experience how true that is, but through this series, I've shared the games I know of, the comments have given me their lists that they've found, and collaboratively, together, we have amassed a giant list of mobile games that are deserving of the spotlight. They deserve an audience of people such as yourselves. So thank you to everyone who's helped spread the word about your favorite games. It's been a blast, and I've played so many bangers now, I honestly feel spoiled. I kinda plan to end the series here, but who knows? If enough people want to see more, I'd be more than happy to continue. What was your favorite game from all the games I've shown in the series? It is pretty tough for me to pick, honestly, but I might have to go with Moonlight from the previous video. But let me know what yours was. Thank you to my members who made this series possible. Please consider supporting me if you can. It helps me be able to make videos like this. Thank you Patrick Barjan, Keep, Gall Guy, Jeb the Legend, Cheaper Yang, Test Monkey, Callum Ford, Perska, Benetter Checky, Mr. Odell, Timor, Kuranov, Aaron the Ghoul, Freakish Smile, Ceramic Tiger, Gemini, Lewis, Omegon, Jonathan Biscoff, Lavatane, Green Man Yeah, McCrazy, Bright Streak, OK, Dante, Skibbity, MGR, Damadan, and Mirai.
And Einar Jar and Live Good.
What am I gonna do with my life now? And more importantly, how am I gonna download anything ever again? Do you know how much storage 120 mobile games takes up? Newsflash, it's a freaking lot, dude.